And we are live. Fanboy Modeling School. Modeling School. I am your host, the Fat Mantis, and I'm here with my man,
Steve. Real name, no gimmicks.
Sorry about that. Still getting this godforsaken system down. How are you, brother?
I'm doing good, man. Here we are, like Samwise and Frodo at the end of all things together.
Yes, being gay and enjoying the end of days. Will the Democratic Party be able to throw the ring into the fiery pits of Mordor, or will we have 4 more years of Goblin terror?
And folks,
I'm sorry, Orc terror. I fucked that whole analogy up.
Orc terror. Folks, if you hear us repeating something, that's because we're getting the live broadcast ready for RizRadio.com. So you're about to hear me do another intro. Don't be alarmed. We're not on crack.
Or you could just record it another time.
Not recorded another time. RizRadio.com, RizRadio Live 365, Fanboy Modeling School. That's the Fat Mantis. I'm Steve, real name, no gimmicks, and here we are at the end of the world. All right, let's get back to the normal broadcast, man. Election night, big guy. Election night. I see you got your red cap on.
Yeah, I got my red cap. I'm in it to win it. Dragon Lady says, Dragon Lady is here. Welcome.
What up, Dragon?
Dragon says, not sure why it dropped my D. I could make a joke right now, but I'm not going to because I love and respect you, Dragon Lady. That's why I didn't do it. Izzy says, let's go, Donald. In the house. Fight says, let's watch the world burn together over on Rumble. Love that message. And then Izzy points out 30 to 154 Trump. Yes, he started out early. He continues to dominate.
Massacre. Can we I know we're gonna get into some topics tonight, man, but can we get a live update thing up on the screen so we can stay in tune? Just keep it muted. You know, we don't need to hear from the fame stream, miserable, lame stream media.
They are the worst. Them and their epic lies.
You know what, man? I thought he might take it. I didn't think it would be a whooping. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've said a lot of things leading up to this election. 100%. I even thought at one point that Trump had given it away. You heard me say it here, man. All he had to do was say, I was nearly assassinated for this country. And that's the whole campaign. But I guess that moment rings true for millions of Americans, or at least hundreds of thousands right now, because they're voting. They're voting right now, man.
Yes, they are voting. They are having their voices heard. And you know what I'm saying? I'm glad that I'm not the crackpot on this one. Because let's face it, in our community, people who wear red hats, people who do this thing, were traitors or were scum or something like that is going on.
Right.
And so there's nothing like a good "I told you so" to make the world go around, right? And so, yeah, you can call me a traitor, but at the end of the day, when he wins,
right?
Here's what it is. I not only do I want him to win for various reasons, but I want him to win so I can rub it in other people's faces,
right?
And I also want him to win so that at the end of the day, when he doesn't enslave us, when we still have democracy, I can take clips of The View. I can take clips of like family members who flip out and put it on their TikTok, and I can just make it a compilation of it, and I can just send it to them, and I can laugh in their fat, miserable, ugly faces. That they were hysterical and insane, and the Fat Mantis was correct.
You want to highlight this, man? Izzy said, I voted for the first time today and got a jury duty summons in the same day.
See, they're trying to stop you from voting for the T-Man. You know what I mean? That is classic the establishment.
That is a thing. That is a thing right there.
They found him. They found his ass.
They found Izzy and they were like, we will have you. We will have all of you. Man, we got some topics outside of the election that we're going to be talking about tonight, man. And we want to keep it lively at the same time. We want to make sure we bring some levity to what is a very stressful night for millions of Americans, millions of left-leaning Americans. But, there's other news besides The freedom.
No, this is a big one. This is a huge one though. But look, I love how they jumped around, but it's still like 30 to 154, I believe, was what they just had up on the screen. So he's taking an early, decisive lead. And do you know when else he did that?
When?
In 2016.
Really?
In 2016, because I remember I went into work that night, right?
Right.
So I was doing my thing, and I gotta share this memory with everyone. This is classic memory. So I'm there. I got an I voted sticker, and so I go to the resident black men. There's the Council of Black Men. There's 2 cleaners and a trainer, and they're hanging out. I'm like, yo, guys, dude. I'm like the big Poindexter, right? I'm like, hey, gentlemen, did you vote? And then they all start making fun of me. They're like, voting doesn't do anything. You're an idiot. Why waste your time? This is stupid. They're all having a good chuckle at the fat man's expense. Right. And then a couple hours later, when it's time for closing, we're closing down the gym. And one of the janitors, the very guy who told me voting doesn't do anything, he sees the score up there. And he literally goes, fuck this shit. He's like, if Donald Trump loses, I'm going to burn this mother down. I was like, you just said you don't care about voting. You know what I mean? It's like it was comical. It was totally comical.
Was this in 2016 or was this
2016? Okay. And so and so he has a far lead, and then I have to close up, focus on closing up. We turn off the TVs. Then I have to head home, take the time getting home. And by the time I got home, it was like 11:30. He was so far ahead. It was like. And I remember I put on Facebook, I said, this thing is a nail biter. And one of my friends who's like, he's kind of like an uncle, but he's really a church uncle. He's just an older guy who goes to the same church as me. He was like, and he's really onto politics and the Democratic Party and all this stuff. And he goes, he's like, can't you read the writing on the wall? This thing is already over. I was like, and I was stupid enough to think it was like, the night was young.
Right.
And so he seems to be mimicking that energy, Trump.
Right.
This year around.
Yeah, so, it seems like it, man. Actually, hit the unmute button. Let's see what these people are saying, because I haven't heard a lot of coping for her yet, man.
True for her. There's no question about that. Again, though, those gains are being offset by Trump gains elsewhere in the state. Just to look down at Brunswick County, it's an area where Donald Trump's running a little ahead of his benchmark. And as we were discussing a little earlier, outside Charlotte, again, these are places where Donald Trump should be winning, and he is winning by a little bit more than he'd be expected to.
It's kind of interesting what we're seeing here in some of these counties. He's overperforming slightly, and so is she in some of the urban areas and some of the areas with the Research Triangle in particular, and with students.
He isn't overperforming anything.
Charlotte. Let's just check out Charlotte one more time, Mecklenburg, and just see where we are in benchmark.
Yeah, we have almost nothing in from Charlotte so far. It's just about all the early by mail votes, so we're going to have to wait to see how that comes in.
And at least in the early by vote, she's outperforing where she needs to be. So again, it's kind of an unfinished story here, obviously, in North Carolina. 41% of the vote.
Did they call Pennsylvania yet?
No, that's the one they're really egging on. This is like their most important thought. Like they're like, they really think that that's the state that's going to do it. I think they already called Georgia for, Georgia was another important one, but I think Trump already won.
But Harrisburg, as an example right now, that county, Donald Trump not getting anywhere near where he would need on the 538 benchmarks.
And so
Kamala Harris, again, it's early. We'll see where it goes.
It is what it is. And once again, I just want to remind everybody who's freaking out, who has a thing. I just took an opportunity to mock people who are hysterical and insane and giving
two-thirds of the vote in, running ahead of the 538 numbers, running ahead of Donald Trump.
And so, I just took an opportunity to mock a bunch of people who, have hysteria, who have fears, who have legitimate fears about this whole thing. I feel you. And so that was all for humor's sake. I want to say what's really on my mind and really on my soul. And the truth is that we have one king and we have one sovereign and we have one authority, and it is Jesus Christ.
Amen.
And no matter what clown wins today, they will have like a fraction of power, but they do not really control your life and they do not control your destiny.
Amen. Well said.
They're the equivalent to Caesar during Jesus's time. Something to be ignored. Yes, it's true. They have the limited power to control whether you live or die. But there's a greater meaning to it all than just living and dying.
Yeah. Amen to that, man. 160 to 30. Yeesh.
And his points keep going up, and hers just keep staying the same, man.
Man, this is a whooping. This is a whooping.
Yeah, Pokey says my mail-in ballot never showed up. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of messed up stuff. You know, my buddy Pena, he lives out in Brooklyn. He said the last time he tried to, when he tried to vote in 2016, he went to his place and they said he voted already.
Really?
And he reported it, and it was really hard to report, and nobody got back to him for days until after the election was already decided, and all this sorts of things. And so these are the types of shenanigans that happen on election day, right? Lost ballots, missing ballots. So, you know, to be honest, that's kind of why I voted in the morning. The fear that someone might steal my vote.
No, absolutely. I understand that, man. There's so much shenanigans going on, man. There's a lot of ballyhoo, but I do want to second what you just said before. Your very poignant and calming message to the other side of the aisle, right? I think that's something that both candidates have done a poor job of saying how they're going to unite the country. Trump has spoken to it a little bit more, and I think a little bit more passionately about it than Kamala has. But here's the deal about a broken system, right? It's broken for a reason, and I don't think that you have much to fear except for fear itself, right? At this point, we'll see how you voted locally, which will impact your life a lot more than the presidential race, unless, you know, me and Mantis are entirely wrong about this, and this does turn into a dictatorship. And in that case, remember, that motherfucker's got on a red hat, and I don't. So when y'all come for us, make sure you get him first.
I'm gonna be like the Red Ranger in that online grim dark Power Rangers movie who betrayed them.
Right, absolutely.
Because in the end of the day, I am wearing the red hat. So what's going to happen? Should Donald Trump be the evil dictator everyone claims he's going to turn into, I will at least be one of his soldiers.
You're going to trickle from Elon to him, man.
Yeah. And that's how I'm going to end up on the ship to Mars.
Yes. So you remember there was a little event that happened recently called the Olympics, I believe it's pronounced.
I think I may have heard of it before.
Yes, and the home of democracy and atheism in Paris.
Oh, that's why I blocked it out. Everything Paris, everything Paris is a reason to not remember.
Exactly. So there was some controversy around a certain boxer, Algerian, I want to say, and there's been an update on the entire situation. Now, notice I use the term update and nothing that's clear and concise, but it's from your favorite brunette over at the Daily Wire, the dead corpse of the Daily Wire, once a huge voice in conservatism, now just another hypocrite on the internet. And I sent it to you over in Telegram.
Right, absolutely.
This is going to be the first time I want us to let something play and just let it rock, because I watched the entire thing. I don't know if you have.
I have.
I want the audience to watch it. We'll get back to that election thing in a second, and I just want you guys to watch this and give your feedback.
Yeah, don't worry, guys. The election isn't going anywhere. But I've got a warm bottle of champagne sitting next to me right now. In case there's a moment he wins, I can just crack it right open.
How early would they call it? Like, what number would he have to get to? Like 220 or something like that?
It's 270. It's actually 270.
No, I know 270, but would they call it early, like at a certain number, a certain threshold?
They usually go at least later. Like, remember, Hillary didn't give in. They didn't acknowledge that he won. Trump won in 2016 till like 3 a.m.
Oh, right.
Okay. Yeah. So, I don't know. That's a good question. I doubt it's going to be in the next 10 minutes, right? So let's see what Homegirl has to say.
Right.
About 1.5 million stories that I wanted to cover from this weekend. And this is part of the show that I feel like you guys don't get to see as often, which is literally just me being on X, being on Google Docs, writing down everything that I'm seeing, and then having to pick 2 stories every day, which is literally impossible. Like this weekend alone, we had the story of Peanut the Squirrel and what that says about government overreach, to evidence coming out about Daniel Penny's case in New York City showing that he did not actually kill that man on the subway, to these new ads being run by Kamala and Walls that are even more disgusting and more gross and weirdly than the ones we talked about on Thursday. But guys, there was one story that stood out to me the most because it is a follow-up of something that we talked about repeatedly this summer. And it is time that we had some redemption, that we had some closure because we were right. Imane Khelif, the Algerian boxer from the Olympics, is in fact a man. Before we dive into this story, though, make sure that you like this video, subscribe to the comment section channel if you have not already, and of course, hit that notification bell to make sure that you stay up to date on all of our episodes. All
we'll
right,
get
so
into why
it's interesting. Catch everyone up because I know we have some new friends since August, and also a lot has happened since August. We will link our previous episodes about this story in the description below. Go get the context, jog your memory. We'll pause. Don't worry, I'll wait. And then come back. But basically, the long and short of it is that during the Olympics this past summer, a scandal arose surrounding two boxers who looked suspiciously not female, even though they were competing against women and they were competing as women. Athletic committees from around the world got involved. It came out that they had been barred from previous competitions due to not meeting gender guidelines. The Olympics had been warned. They were aware of all of this, and they didn't care. In fact, they literally told us, what's the problem? We checked her.
Now, I know you want to let it rock, but we do, just for copyright reasons, have to stop it occasionally and have a quick conversation.
I forgot the Daily Wire, purveyor of truth, purveyor of free use.
Oh no, they'll use other people's videos, but they'll also attack you immediately. Like, YouTube's corrupt and evil but YouTube pays them a ton of money and caters to them when they want something taken down. So it's all this is the game.
Yeah, this is the game.
But so here's how this personally affects my life. So a dear friend that I love very much, she at one point was like, "You spit conspiracy theories, Mantis," and I said, "I don't know what you're talking about." And then she cited this case,
right?
And she's like, "You told me that person was a man, but I went to all these liberal." She didn't say liberal, but she's like, "I went to all these other news sources, and they say that's not true." And I said, "No, I'm like, this isn't a conspiracy theory. She has the genes of a man. She has the chromosomes of a man." And this person did not want to believe me. Now, this isn't just Brett Cooper saying this. Tons of sources are saying it's finally confirmed. It's scientifically proven,
right,
that this boxer is a man. Now, the question is, do I rub it in this friend's face? Do I take the videos and bombard them with it and be like, conspiracy theory that?
You know how I'm infamous? I won't say famous, but infamous for saying, remember, you asked for this. Usually when someone's pushing me to get into some type of debate that they want, and I'm like, I'm well read on this subject. Remember, you asked for this. I think another term that I like to use a lot, but I actually got from a good friend of mine, shout out to Amon, is if you were wrong and I found out you were wrong, would you like to know? And that's always what I say before I send someone the link. I'm like, hey, if you were wrong about something that we had a pretty passionate conversation about, would you like to know you were wrong? Like, absolutely wrong. Would you like to know? And most people will say yes. And then when you send it to them, they'll just be like, right.
It's the whatever. It suddenly doesn't matter anymore.
Right,
who was right or wrong, right? As soon as you have actual evidence to shut them up. But at the time, they were dead set on being aggressive and in your face and all sorts of things.
So Rico says he's seeing 170 to 90. Rogue says 165 to 30. I'm also monitoring the Young Turks, who, by the way, I just watched their video someone had compiled of them during 2016 when he won the first time. It is hard to watch, man. Like, it is.
The Young Turks, that dude from the Young Turks lose his mind.
Yeah, they lost him. Not like he's not like screaming or anything, but it's just like a slow.
You see the real rage, and he's clenching his ass real tight. like bro, this isn't the prison showers, man. But he's like turning red. He's like, son of a, and he doesn't have words. and that's what I'm saying. I have passion for who wins. Obviously, I want what I believe God's will to be done. Right. But I don't think there could ever be a victory that would do that. Like, for instance, Joe Biden, I think he was I already knew he was senile. It was obvious. And I just didn't think he has anything as a candidate. And trust me, it did irritate me that he had won in 2020. It didn't irritate me to that level where I'm going to go cry in the street, or I'm going to be in the middle of a live stream losing my mind. It looks like you're about to have like the blood vessel in your brain is going to pop.
Right. No, I get what you're saying. When it comes to God's sovereignty over these type of things, like, don't get me wrong, man, I did vote, right? But God's sovereignty is in complete stark contrast to what we think his will is, right? And what we perceive his will to be. And it just is, right? So I always tell Christians, like, no matter how you voted, don't put it, and actually, don't take this the wrong way. Don't put your vote on God's will, right? Because that's going to play out regardless of how it happens. What people have a hard time accepting is the will of God, right? Your candidate lost, man. And they lost because they were supposed to lose if you believe in such things. And in 2016, I was at a prayer meeting in North Hollywood at a treatment center called Cry for Help. Robert Downey Jr. actually went to this treatment center, and I was there with a bunch of other Christian brothers. I actually may have been just two when I say a bunch. It was my good friend Imane and another good friend Mauricio. And I had not really leaned into Christianity yet. A lot of people seem to come to faith in Christ by way of conservative thought. It was the opposite for me. I didn't start even acknowledging conservative ideology until I was a Christian, and I'm still that way. To damn with the secular conservatives, I say. They're a step away from hell, just like most liberals are. But it's crazy and wild to me, man, because I will watch people who espouse spirituality through and through on the internet, right? I will watch people who talk about affirmation and vibes and all types of things, and they speak about it with such certainty, and I am watching them melt down right now on the internet. And I just don't understand how those two things can exist in the same space, right? You believe in the power of affirmation. If I think it and I will it, then it shall be done. Well, here we have clear, concrete evidence right now, right? That's all bullshit, right? I'm sure you all sat around in your bongo circles and you tried to will a landslide for Kamala.
Well, another thing is, yes, absolutely. What did somebody say? Oh, somebody said this at my work meeting today. Oh, it was crazy in Zoom. What do one of these witches do? You know, when these girls kind of dabble new age stuff. What is it called?
Yeah,
when they make it happen.
Affirmation, the power of affirmation.
Yeah, she's like, well, whatever that word is, she's just like, I'm bringing into existence.
Yes,
yeah. And like that's what she said she was doing for Kamala, and it was like, oh, okay, your one projection is gonna make reality, for everybody. And so here's the whole thing about rulers, though. It's important to do, because I think this is the constant misconception of what God is and what God's purpose is. People think all the time, even Christians I hear sometimes, think that God is here to make their lives easier.
Yeah.
And that is not what God is here for. That's not what he does as a job. That's not what he does for civilizations. And I'll give you an example. In the Bible, in the Old Testament, he had the Assyrian Empire and the Babylonian Empire and the Akkadian empires there to dish out horrible fates against people who were wicked. And so he allowed evil to fester in places.
Why did you say people? Why didn't you say who those people were? Specifically targeted at a particular people. Why didn't you say it?
Because I can only get canceled so much in one broadcast. So, but my point is that evil rulers will exist, and so if you think the T-Man is evil, I certainly don't. Obviously, he has a lot of great characteristics, but if you think he's evil, don't think God is going to spare you from that.
Right. I have no disagreement at this point in what you said. I am not as reluctant as you to refer to Donald Trump as a vile, unrepentant sinner. But hey, he can be used for God's will, just like all the other vile, unrepentant sinners of biblical times, right? What I really want to focus on is my bongo people, right? Now, I'm not calling it early, man. I just want you guys to stop believing in yourselves so much, right? I want you to stop believing in your power to manifest, right? And I've heard various.
That's the word, manifest. They manifest everything. All these bitches think they are manifesting things left and right. Like they're controlling the outcome of elections through their manifestation.
I just want you to stop believing in yourself so much and believe in something outside of yourself that might actually do something for you. Now, Brett Cooper here is talking about something that's very interesting to me, right? How many people were on Facebook that were ostracized from family members for reporting on this based off of a report. Initially, it came out that this person, this human being, was a biological male, and then other reports came out. And I watched a lot of people walk it back. They're like, hey, I was probably wrong about this. And it was good to see people walk it back, because if you're wrong, you should admit that you're wrong. Now, I want to see if anyone else is going to walk back their statements. And I want to use a term that's just quite troublesome to me. That's going to be used later in this video. And I just want to brace the audience.
Is it manifestation?
No, it's micro penis.
Oh, I hate it when that word comes up. But before I hit play again, should I take these videos and bombard my church friend that I love very much,
right?
And be like, oh, am I a conspiracy theorist, or should I just be the bigger man and just drop it?
That's like asking, is this the Red Mirage stage of the election? Okay. Which they're asking over at Young Turks right now. Honestly, you didn't tell me it was a sister in the faith. I would probably proceed a little bit differently than I would, one of my staunch atheistic friends, right? If it's a sister in Christ, I would just say, hey, can we double back on the conversation we had before? And I want you to know that I wasn't trying to lead you astray. Can I present some information to you? And remember,
that's a good phrase. I like that phrase right there. I wasn't trying to lead you astray, because when she said you're a conspiracy theorist, that's where I took offense to it, because she's almost implying that I meant to mislead her.
Yeah, you're prevailing.
Really, I was hitting her up with the truth.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Okay, thank you for the advice. Rico says, I jumped here because this is my chill corner on YouTube, but I came from Daily Wire and Crowder. Yeah, I mean, I'm a fan of them all. Most days I actually turn on Crowder in the morning. Like if I don't if I'm not in a meeting or something important, I'll have him live streaming while I'm working or whatever. I don't think he's the most talented live streamer in the world, but he's informative, certainly.
D over on Rumble says, Mantis, are you giving away those red hats to your viewers? Yes. And the answer to that is D, yes. Send Mantis your bank account and your routing number, and he's going to send you the money to buy your own hat.
Actually, it's funny because when I ordered it, I didn't know this, but it came with 2. So we actually have one. We could do a giveaway. But this time we actually have items to give away instead of just junk. Lainey says, I am one of those people, but am more conservative based when it comes to politics. Yeah.
And
spiritual. Yes.
I can't hate on you on that, man. It seems like that would be the appropriate response if you're a spiritualist.
Right. Bax, who said this a while ago, said manifesting is the word, you losers.
I said the word multiple times, man.
I think she posted that earlier. Whatever.
Go ahead, brother.
Real quick, Izzy is dropping the scoreboard. 62-1 to 168. I think that might be back numbers. I think I saw. Anyway, you know what? Let's get back to Brett, and then we'll hit up the election.
Her passport, she is a girl. You guys are just all bigots. They let these individuals beat up women who had literally fought to make their way to the Olympics, only to be faced with these 2 questionable opponents. And some of their Olympic competitors even backed out of the competition, saying we are not going to fight against these people. And even more of them started holding up their fingers to form an X for XX chromosomes as their own kind of silent protest. And if you guys remember correctly, this story was just wild because we genuinely had no idea whether these fighters were men or whether they were just very large women, especially the fighter from Algeria, Imane Khelif, who we're going to focus on today. But we were told, even by their families, that they were not transgender. We at least knew that. So then we moved to intersex. Maybe Imane Khelif was one of the very, very, very few individuals who was actually born intersex. Maybe Imane does have both XX and XY chromosomes. Maybe they do have some female genitalia, which is obviously a completely new and different.
Teams switching off.
It's
the innovation workspace.
Different can of worms. And at the time, and I genuinely meant this, and I still do, I said that if this were the case, my heart goes out to Imane because, of course, you don't know where you fit in if you're intersex. Maybe their family and their communities and their doctors lied to Imane, didn't inform them of this so that they could just fit in socially. Maybe they literally had no idea because it is so rare, but that still does not mean that you should be able to compete against other normal biological women, especially in a contact sport like boxing. Especially when doctors from the Boxing World Championship and the IBA are on record from years ago saying that you have male chromosomes and high testosterone.
Yeah, and so that was one of the things that was my main argument as to why it was clearly valid. Is people were like, why are you hating on this person? And I was like, well, international boxing, after a medical exam of this boxer, said they were not allowed to participate in international boxing. But for some reason, the Olympics, who doesn't listen to them, decided to have them on.
Well, Olympic boxing, in case you didn't know, is wildly corrupt, right? I want you to know that the one L Floyd Mayweather should have on his record, right? But it doesn't count because it was in the Olympics. It was at the Olympics, and he clearly won that fight. So I've boycotted the Olympics for years. They've been robbing Americans for years.
Oh, they hate us. They hate us. Just in general, the Olympics. You know, it is like this club of American haters.
Yeah.
Let's find a way to rip people off. Like, remember what happened to our gymnast when she got her bronze medal taken away?
Oh yeah, that's friggin' crazy, man. And people were like applauding, man. That's nuts. I was gonna say something to you when people say stuff like that, what you just said. It's always just easier to say, hey, I'm merely reporting on what's being reported. If you take umbrage on what I'm covering, make sure you go let the people know who are releasing the source, right? And the source said that they might have been intersex, and we're following it as it develops. Never take a definitive stance. Initially, it did seem as if though these were two, what people were reporting, trans women. It's going to get really interesting in this video in a second. It's already wildly interesting. And shout out to Brett Cooper for finally getting some new headphones. Shout out to her.
Yeah, absolutely.
Levels. You were disqualified from other competitions for a reason. And for pointing all of this out and expressing concerns about this absolutely wild situation, we were all called crazy. The female athletes who spoke out, from Marley Gaines to Bethany Hamilton, were all called bigots. This was turned into an LGBTQ issue, of course. And at the end of the Olympics, Imane Khelif won, took home the gold medal, as did the other questionable fighter, Lin Yutang of Taiwan. So we had no idea if these competitors were actually biological women. We knew that they had been barred from competitions in the past. We knew the doctors were going on record publicly doing press conferences expressing their concern. We knew that they had biological advantages, and they went through their entire
right. And international boxing would not just arbitrarily ban somebody. Like, they would have evidence if they're accusing a female boxer of being a male and be like, they can't participate. Yeah, that wouldn't come out of nowhere.
Yeah, I mean, it's a death sentence now to do something like that, but it keeps getting better. It gets better.
But wait, there's more.
Classes and beat all the women. And of course, because this is the society that we live in, both of them went on victory tours, especially Imane Khelif, who got the most publicity during this entire scandal. And suddenly, Khelif was doing things like sitting front row at Milan Fashion Week, rubbing shoulders with celebrities and designers, and just this month was featured on the cover of Vogue Arabia. Now, amidst all of these celebrity and pop culture highlights, Imane also launched a cyberbullying lawsuit against the social media platform X and all the people who questioned the boxer's gender. That is why they are suing. And of course, the two biggest names listed in this lawsuit were J.K. Rowling and Elon Musk. And don't worry, guys, the lawyers assured everyone that Trump would be investigated, even though he wasn't specifically named in the lawsuit. I mean, this is truly, truly insane. A lawsuit against a free speech social media platform because people rightfully questioned your gender and hurt your feelings after doctors said that you should not be fighting against women because you do not meet gender qualifications. This is literally the upside down. That is not cyberbullying. That is biology and critical thinking, my friend. Now, the timing of what I'm about to tell you is so perfect because Imane's Vogue cover literally just dropped a few days ago, the beginning of November. And guess what bombshell dropped today? A leaked French medical report from 2023 that confirms that Imane Khelif is a biological male. Not that he's intersex, but that he is a biological male. Redux, which is just a great publication specializing in this issue, they broke the news this morning, and the report says that yes, as we all knew, because the doctor said so and the World Championship said so, Khelif does have XY chromosomes. But Khelif also has no uterus and has undescended testicles and a micro penis. Sorry, buddy. Doesn't matter how small it is, you are still a man. Doesn't matter if your testicles didn't.
Can we talk about micro penises for a second?
If we must.
So obviously people have used the term micro penis. I didn't know it was a real medical term, but people have used this term all the time to, to diss people, to make jokes. It's like, he has a micro penis, blah, 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 and all this stuff. Now I'm sensing that this is a real medical term.
Yes.
So it is the micro penis like out of their body?
No, I don't know.
I mean, if the person pees from a hose that's coming out of their body, that is clearly some sort of a dick and is clearly a man.
Right. Absolutely.
And so they just ignored this. They just Algeria just ignored this or whatever.
Yeah.
That's like, oh my god. Sorry, I was ignorant, guys. I was ignorant. Just
Said you are still a man. Doesn't matter if you get neutered. Like my dog Tater, you are still a boy. He is still a boy.
Here comes the Rough Greens ad.
My name is Aaron Soref. I'm the president of.
Don't get me wrong. I love Rough Greens.
I'm sure.
And I think I'm going to give my cats meow greens.
Rough Greens is a supplement that contains all the necessary vitamins, minerals, probiotics, omega oils, digestive enzymes, and antioxidants. 2024. That is controversial. Now, in this article,
real quick, I want to say something about Brett Cooper in general. I mean, I love me my Brett Cooper, but for those who watch her on the regular, she does this funny thing where she has the worst transitions from normal speak into the commercial. And she's notorious. And so if anyone ever gets an opportunity to actually watch more of her videos and you're into it like that, just pay attention to how she transitions. Some of them are horrible. However, it's a comedy gold in like a good way.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's proven beyond the shadow of a doubt that she is the X23 of Ben Shapiro, right? We can all agree.
You know what it is? I'm normally critical of clones because the only clone experience I have is, the Taylor Swift thing. Right. But like, I think this is a positive use of a clone.
Right. Am I to remember that your official stance is clones aren't people and they don't have rights?
So, okay. So that's my take on Star Wars.
Right.
But I will say this. I don't know if we want to give them rights, but I will tell you this. They don't have a soul. A clone does not have a soul, period. And so
no matter how much it's pleading with you as you're bashing its head in, Mantis, it doesn't have a soul.
It is what it is. I'll try to be as humane as possible, but when the clone wars happen or whatever, I will. Here's what it is. I will not take enjoyment in hurting something that feels pain, but they do not have a soul.
Okay. So, do puppies have a soul?
So that's funny that you say that. So this is backed up by absolutely nothing biblical. This is my headcanon. I believe animals have souls. They're just different. They're not equal. They're certainly not equal, but they're just different.
Okay, I can dig that, man. I can dig that. They are, proof of God's divine existence, as said in Romans. So Izzy is reporting 8168. Has the slow crawl back started? Has the fix happened? Is the fix in?
Fix is in. The fix is in. Oh man. Don't worry. I still feel confident.
Go ahead, continue. Mike Rapina says, yes, they are. It is a medical term, and if you have one, you are a male, according to the doctors.
Right. Let me ask you, clones, do you think they have souls?
Yes, I think a clone would have a soul. I think a human clone would have a soul. In my head canon, they would have a soul because if it can reason, if it can plead, if it can divorce itself from being a carbon copy of what it's been cloned from, then I think it qualifies as life itself.
Wow. Okay. So I would say it's life, but what I'm saying,
and Star Wars proved it, right? Star Wars proved it. Even Yoda said the clones were different in the Force. They were.
Okay, so I'll point, and this goes into my headcanon thing. My explanation as to why the Jedis were allowed to make a race, a living sentient race, and force it into slavery and force it to fight a war for them. Remember, clones were gunned down or arrested if they tried to flee, so they didn't have the right to say no to war. Why would the Jedis do this? My argument: they don't have a soul.
Well, wait, black people were gunned down and killed if they attempted to leave their bondage.
You're right, and that's not right. What I'm saying, here's what I'm saying: if Jedis are the moral authority in the world, why do they have them doing this to a life form? It's totally nuts.
Yeah, so here's the thing. I think that proves the corruption of the Jedi at the time and using a weapon of convenience as opposed to seeing them for the life forms they are. But not in my head canon, in canon, because that's what it is. The Clone Wars are canon. Yoda.
The Clone Wars are canon, but they don't talk about souls in the Clone Wars. So
he says they're different in the Force, and if the Force is not
different in the Force, does not that doesn't that. Here's what I'm saying. I can see how someone interprets that as soul, but that's not definitively a soul.
If the Force resides in you, what does that mean?
No, all living things have force. They have the Force living within them. I don't classify that as a soul.
Well, unfortunately, Lucas and the people who make the canon disagree with you.
Well, Lucas is wrong, and he did. Yeah, but you know, so basically, I feel the only way the Jedi could treat them like that is if they knew they didn't have souls or whatever.
Or the Jedi, just like many other religious orders before them, fell into corruption.
Yeah, I mean, they were pretty corrupt, but Yoda too. I mean, that was great. It's so funny that he tells them that he's like, you are special in the Force. You're each individuals. Embrace yourselves. And he's like, now go fight, bitches.
Well, I mean, we're also talking about a religious order that took small children to war with him, right?
Yeah. You got to do what you got to do. You know why I argue that one's not as bad? Wow, this stream was really derailed. You know what it is? It's because different cultures, people reach adulthood, at different times. Like for instance, in ancient, like old school biblical times. I mean, the Old Testament. Like if we're talking about when they were nomads in the desert, you literally were a 13-year-old warrior.
Oh, absolutely.
They had 16-year-old kings.
Right,
freaking raging war and stuff, and so every culture is different. And I just think that Star Wars is a place where I guess you grow up fast, because that's our hang up. In America, you're not an adult until you're 30, for some reason. But really, in real life, I'd say 16, you're an adult.
Oh, Roy, the systematic apologist.
You think that's apology?
Yeah, because here's the thing, man. Here's it all. What I'm talking about all leads to the actual linear story of Star Wars, right? Even Star Wars' greatest mind, recognized as the ultimate fan, Star Wars Theory, who can never say a bad thing about the canon itself unless he truly thinks it's bad, recognizes that the reason that the dark side was able to succeed, the reason Sidious was able to succeed where others had failed, was he played on these sensibilities of the Jedi, right? Pushing a person to compel themselves to the highest good and also giving them the opportunity to take shortcuts and justifying it by saying this lends itself to the ultimate good, right? So for instance, your very well thought out point about the clones. In the Jedi's mind, they are fighting for freedom, and everything that leads up into the victory for freedom, it's just
good. It must be good. I feel you. This is a great argument. I like where this is going.
And so in justifying that, their Padawans, which they were entrusted with to teach them about the Force and how to be a light and a beacon in the universe, because we're fighting for good, and this ultimately will lead to the light, justified them taking children to get slaughtered. And man, a lot of younglings got slaughtered in the Clone Wars.
Yes, and actually throughout the series, you're right. There's a tradition of young people not making it out, and go figure. But also just think about Ahsoka. Probably the reason that Ahsoka's a bitch as an adult is because she murdered so much as a child.
Yeah.
Like there are episodes where she's chopping people up into a little.
I mean, and God bless her, because you got to do what you got to do when you're fighting a bunch of soulless droids and bug people. Now, the bug people definitely didn't have souls. That's why they were able to cut them in half. They're the only species besides the abominable snowmen that just get completely eviscerated.
Right, and you know what this is? It's so funny that everyone blames Sidious for this human supremacy thing. However, I agree with you. The Jedi have it too. The Jedi are like, this thing doesn't look like me, so it does. I can just kill it and do whatever I want with it.
Oh, absolutely. Izzy's reporting 81 to 185.
Okay.
Yeesh.
You're here's what it is. Obviously, we could be worried, but like, we're still good. We're still good.
No, I mean, this is.
Oh, you're like, she's not even competitive right now.
No, man. Yeah, this is like if this was competitive like MMA or jiu-jitsu, what she has done thus far is thrown up a few triangles and slipped out of some submissions.
Right.
And like the crowd is cheering, but it's like, and she's back. This is when someone fights Khabib Nurmagomedov, and we applaud them for not getting subbed in the first 5 minutes of the fight. You're like, it truly proves how great he is. It doesn't prove how great he is.
Right, exactly. Like he lasted 5.5 minutes. That's an accomplishment on its own. Well, no, this is nutty. But
99 188, Rico says 99 188.
Okay. Well, she'll at least break 100. Let's see what more Brett has to say about the micro penises, or do you want to switch over to the election? And just the guys to let you know, I've made the statement both on our socials, and I've actually done it on the radio. I did it on your show, Mike Check. But for you Riz Radio fans, I have decided that if Donald Trump wins tonight, we are going to put in heavy rotation. That's constantly played on all shows. Mac Miller's Donald Trump. However, if Kamala Harris wins tonight, we are going to put in heavy rotation Young Jeezy's My President is Black.
Young Jeezy.
Now, I think a lot of people are like, well, isn't that song about Obama? Well, Kamala Harris doesn't have any songs about her. Which is another reason why she's losing.
We're done with actually, I guess we should, for consistency's sake, allow Brett Cooper to finish her point here.
Okay.
Reduc says that the report was drafted in June of 2023 via a collaboration between a French hospital and an Algerian hospital. So that's important because Algeria knew. The government officials in Algeria knew about this. And the report reveals that Khelif is impacted by 5-alpha reductase deficiency, a disorder of sexual development that is only found in biological males. The genetic abnormality influences the normal development of a child's sexual organs. At birth, male babies impacted by 5-alpha are often incorrectly assigned female due to the presence of a deformed genitalia that sometimes takes on the appearance of a blind vaginal pouch. Now, of course, because of this, it could be plausible that doctors assume that Khelif was a girl at birth. Maybe that's why there are photos of Khelif dressed as a little girl. Maybe it's why his father was so adamant that his son is a girl. But that is not what the science says. Even his own government, even doctors in Algeria knew that was not the truth. Doctors and the science have been telling Imane's families, the athletic bodies, the associations, that this is a man for years at this point. They didn't listen. They didn't care. They threw it back.
Everyone who hates ads will be using this Chrome extension by 2025. I feel like I just found a Google cheat code. It's a Chrome extension.
At us. They said that we were crazy, that we were bigots. They tried to hide the information time and time again. They did not care, and they let a man beat up a woman because it was politically correct. The IOC, which is the Olympic Committee, turned a blind eye because they were more worried about being seen as diversive and inclusive than actually protecting their biological female athletes. And these comments were just so spot on. Huge emphasis. The Algerian Olympic Committee knew full well that this guy wasn't female, but sent him to Paris to compete in the women's division anyway. I lost so many friends when I stated that he was a man. I was called ignorant and a bigot for not being accepting. Now, if I were to send this to them, they will all ignore it and call it fake news. Another person said, so yet another conspiracy theory that ends up being 100% true. I'm sure that all the officials will come out and apologize, right? Can't wait for all the apologies that are inevitably going to flood in due to the awful things women who called this out were labeled. That's definitely going to happen, right? Yeah, all the journalists, they're going to issue retractions and corrections, right? I mean, the IOC, they will certainly give the runner-ups gold medals. They will apologize. This lawsuit, they will publicly say it has no grounds. They will throw it out. No, that's not going to happen. This entire thing is going to be brushed under the rug like it always is, and they'll hope that people will just move on to the next thing. And that is why I wanted to do this episode, especially right before this election. George Alexopoulos said they want men to beat women in public with a crowd cheering and with.
Oh, wow.
Just a little house cleaning right here, right now. D's over on Rumble. D, thanks for the support on Rumble. Folks, if you're trying to figure out a way maybe to support RizRadio.com, there are two clear paths to support RizRadio.com, and that's by supporting the Fat Mantis on either one of his channels. That's Twitch. If we're live on Twitch, consider using your Prime sub over there. Help keep the lights on. Or if you're over on Rumble, go ahead and scroll down to the bottom of the page, and I see active now the subscribe button on your Rumble channel. And if you click on that, the first tier you're going to see is for $5 a month. $5 a month is 1 cup of coffee that you would spend at Galactic Starbucks. Give it to the Riz and help us keep the lights on. Continue.
Well said, brother. But look at her statement. I may need to rewind it a little. But like, listen to what she just read.
And women still vote for it, which unfortunately, is the case. Women still vote for it, which unfortunately, episode, especially right before this election. George Alexopoulos said they want men to beat women in public with a crowd cheering, and women still vote for it, which unfortunately, is the case. We are on the heels of one of the most.
And that is the craziest thing that is going on, particularly with like the transgender situation, is that, you know, all these women who, unfortunately, they're coming from a place of empathy and compassion, and they have so much for it that they don't have the logic. And I'm sorry to write this off as women. I really should be writing it off as leftists. They don't have enough sense. They're so busy being compassionate. They don't have any sense to have their own side in a fight.
Yeah.
So women are voting away their rights, and they don't realize it. It's in the name of feminism. They're voting away their rights because they're looking out for trans women.
Here's the crazy thing. As you say that, D had said over on Rumble, where are the feminists? Shouldn't they be advocating for protection of women's sports? D, you'd have a better chance getting a Blade movie with Wesley Snipes made than to getting them to ever publicly.
And if on this episode we're really getting into it, we're really talking about it. Do you know about Prop 1 that was proposed?
But can I hit you with something that just got sent to me from a secret contributor that wants to remain nameless, but it's fact?
Yes, please.
Trump on path to win 25% of black male vote nationally.
Blammo. There you have it.
That 25%. It's over. Like if it reaches that 25%, it's you can call it early, bro. You can call it early. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
And so check this out. So Prop 1 is this thing that, in my opinion, was really written. It was really written to protect trans people's right to enter girls' sports or women's sports. And so in New York State, they have Prop 1, and it's like it's a new definition of equality, and they added gender transition and gender identity and all that stuff to the definitions that we when we're listing equality things, right? Mm-hmm. However, how do they market it? They market it in all their commercials as to protect women's right to abortion and not to be discriminated. They're claiming that it's there to not discriminate against women who have abortions. I got news for you. No woman, maybe one or two in the history of all of time and space, have ever been discriminated against because they've had an abortion. Most bosses or people hiring you don't know if you've had an abortion or not. It's the idea that women are in waves are getting discriminated against because they've had abortions are ridiculous. But that is how they marketed it to try to get women to vote for it. But what they're really voting for is for trans women, aka men, biological men, to compete in their sports and to take their trophies and to take their titles and to injure other females.
Okay.
And so, but it's disgusting that like this idea that all you have to do is bring up reproductive rights and abortion to women, and women will flock to it and defend it and protect it. If I told you, the happiness of my cock will protect your right to have an abortion, it would get sucked every fucking night until I am dead and gone at the age of 107.
That is the most colorful.
Straight up, that's how it would go. That is how
you can use that, man. That could be like your Tinder byline.
When my cock is pleasure, it protects abortion rights. that should be the only thing in your profile, and you're good. But the idea that they're packaging it like that, this idea, this false narrative that women are being discriminated against because they've had abortions is insane, and it's all there to do the opposite, and it's demonic. It's demonic out there.
100% agree. 100% agree. D says nobody is out here forcing women to share their murder. Oops, I mean abortion stories. D's
yes, thank you.
D's over here cooking on Rumble, man.
She really is. God bless you, D. You know, the MVP of the night may win a MAGA hat. Who knows?
Yeah, that's right, folks. Comment of the night, man. Comment of the night will get you Mantis. Hold it up again so they can see it. Get you some merch. An official "Make America Great Again" hat from Mantis, man.
Blammo. Send it to you. And a letter from the Mantis.
Yeah, a pinned letter.
A pinned letter. You write it. But do we want to switch over back to the
Yeah, let's switch over. Let's see what's going on.
Let's see what is going on over.
Let's go somewhere spicy. Do you want to go? You want to go to the Young Turks? You want to go to the Young Turks, man?
Oh, Young Turks. I mean, I really despise those people, but I hear you. That's like you said, spicy, right?
Yeah, I'll send it to you. No, you can get there yourself. My bad.
Yeah, I can get. Yeah.
Shout out to everyone that's here. Remember, man, give $5 a month to the Mantis over on Rumble, man. It's your opportunity
to all of us, man. To all of us. It doesn't just go to me. It goes to our radio station. It goes to all sorts of stuff.
Well, that's what you said when you had me sign that complicated deal when you picked me up from rehab, and I was like, "What am I signing?"
Don't worry, we're eventually gonna pay you. Just sit tight. It'll show up.
Just that reminds me of Mixcloud, man. When they're like, "Oh, don't worry, the money's on its way." I'm like, I don't believe you.
To decide what the rules are for the elections.
D says, Steve, how come you don't have a hat on? D, in all honesty,
California, believe me.
It never occurred to me
it's a fair point. Yeah, but
one of those hats.
Like I hate
to me to buy one of those hats. I wear my belief system out loudly, right? If I bought any hat, it would be from a show called Cross Politics. Go look them up and show them support, man. And I've talked about this on here before. They have one of the best logos that I love to wear to upset people. It is literally the American flag bowing to the cross, and I love it. I was
I love that.
I was trying to get my hands on one of those hats, but they want actual money.
But I'll explain this in more detail. So I am absolutely 100% comfortable voting for Donald Trump. I'm like into it. I'm into it. Now I wouldn't say I'm MAGA, but I would say that like people are like, "Who's your candidate?" Donald Trump. Not a problem saying it. Not a problem doing it.
Right.
I might not be super enthusiastic like a MAGA, but I'm into it. And I have a feeling, Steve, you can cut me off or let me know if this is the case, that you are more hesitant about his qualifications or whether he's good or something.
No. Hesitant isn't the word. Will always be a conscientious objector, right? You know what I'm saying? I will always be the person, because before anything else, before conservative, before libertarian, before independent, I believe in an absolute truth. And my official stance on Trump is, if he does not serve the interest of God, he's as useful to me as the Algerian male boxer, right? That's my official stance, right? The reason I don't get caught up in like a lot of Trump rhetoric or things of that nature is because it only serves a purpose. Is that purpose furthering the mission of God? He is just another human being to me. I don't revere him. I laugh at him. I respect him, in the words of Louis Farrakhan, for being exactly what I know he is, a mirror image of this country, right? And that's why they hate him.
I absolutely think that he is. That's a good point of pointing it out. He is so us. Who was it who said it? Who's that black actor who said Obama is the president that we wish Obama is the America we wish we were. Donald Trump is the America we really are.
Oh man, you and I had a great conversation on here one night, and we were lamenting the time of Barack's first run for president, and even the second, man. And I don't agree with shit that man says at this stage in my life. Some things I agree with. There's some parts of his humanistic view that I'm just like, man, that really, it pulls at your heartstrings, because I actually believe Barack Obama believes the things that he says. I really do think that he thinks those things that he present as a solution, he really believes it. I don't think he's faking it, man. What my problem has been with other candidates from the Democratic Party is I don't believe anything they say. I don't believe that they care about trans people. I don't believe they care about migrants. I don't believe any of that shit. And it's proof because the only time they're going to come talk to y'all is around election season. And I just want you people to realize that, man. I want you all to realize that we've been duped as minorities for years by people we trust into believing that this party is the party of altruism, and
Right.
they just aren't. They aren't.
It's
Man, what
just
you
not.
want,
It's absolutely not the case. I tried to convince my mom so many times. She just, and remember, she was there for civil rights. So my own mother. I understand why she doesn't understand that things change. And don't get me wrong. Don't hear what I'm not saying. I am not saying that I think Republicans are the new party of protecting people. Here's what it is. I don't think there is a party of protecting people. And right now we've got to take what we can get out of these parties.
And again, that I know that's what you believe, and so many people. Actually, it's funny because so many people on the left I know believe the same thing. We got to vote for what's tangible and what's obtainable right now. My belief structure does not allow me to settle into that comfortably, and my personality is not bent like that. What I see is corruption abound, right? It's everywhere in our political system, and I refuse to call it anything other than a sick and dying system. And until we actually, as Americans, lean into the fact that there needs to be a party that actually represents the interest of America, then I'll just keep calling it like it is, man. And again, like to answer your question, there's no hesitancy about Trump, right? I've said before where I think he is correct, and I said where I think he is incorrect. And I just want to remain impartial that way and objective, right? I can't allow myself to be pulled into the emotiveness. Next thing you know, I'll have dreadlocks sitting on the beach, beating a bongo, talking about my mind.
Do you know who Ruslan is?
Yeah, I know
Christian content creator.
Yeah.
So him and his I don't even know who his sidekick is. I don't know the guy's name. But they did this thing where they reviewed two interviews between one with Trump, one with Kamala, where they bring up the Bible and they talk about the Bible, and they were trying to judge like which one was better. And they had just determined that it was clear that both of them were unprepared and just kind of spoke off the cuff and wasn't exactly correct and stuff, Yeah, however, the difference was Kamala used her Bible reference. She talked about the book of Jeremiah. And she didn't really accurately depict it. She tried to compare it to socialism and try to make it to a social thing where we have to help poor people. But the difference is that Trump at least did say Jesus is king. We need to bow to Jesus. And so at least that happened.
Right.
And so he won, even though his understanding of theology in the Bible is just clearly not there.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing, man. Demons have a great understanding of scripture. They know it better than you and I. So that wouldn't be something that would impress me, right? It would be in actuality the fruit of their belief system. And when it comes to Kamala Harris and the fruit of her belief, I didn't even know that she espoused any Christian views or anything like that. Kamala Harris is a victim of what's wrong with the world, in my opinion, right? And so is Trump. Wishy-washy, unable to stand on a point, right? You just stand on it and take the L, become a social pariah, right? If I was in Kamala's camp during these times and people were like, what about her record as a DA and a prosecutor? I would have had her lean into that shit. Like, you're damn right. I prosecute criminals to the utmost of the law. And until you're proven guilty, if you're in my system, and I guarantee she would have pulled some Trumpsters away from her. Lean into that shit, man. Be honest.
But you know what it is? Her party's bottom line is they're ultra light on crime, and they want to downplay that she was a law enforcement.
I meant to send you a clip where I forget the guy's name, Willie Brown or something like that, man. The guy she's most associated with for her extramarital activities, allegedly, with him.
Right.
And it's a video of him like while he's on the campaign and he's shucking and jiving. People coming up to him saying like, "Yo, man, I'm gonna vote for you." And he had like a great sense of fashion. The man was a fixer, and he was also, I won't say like a literal gangster. He wasn't like a Tony Soprano gangster, but he was a man that could go like this and get shit done. Right? He was one of those political figures, which was rare at that time for a black man. At one point, Kamala's at the end of the clip, and they're talking about he's known for his flashy style and his flashy parties and his love of the ladies. And who's right behind him when they say that? And this is during that time period. It's Kamala. And someone asks, "Are you his daughter?" And she's like, "No, I'm not."
Yes, and so and that's where I know what you're doing. People say that they're like, that's evidence that she was once a high paid hooker.
She was a hot girl, but like, here's the difference between her and Trump. Trump is also seen in that exact same light in the 80s. He's out there with the booger sugar, doing this thing, dancing with Epstein. That man leaned into it. He's like, it's the 80s. I was out there. Everyone was. Sometimes people just respond to that, man. They respond to that.
Well, sometimes you got to be real. And honestly, this is the craziest thing. I'm sure a lot of people would judge me on this, but I actually think that Trump keeps it realer than most. And so he is like the first to say, admit his wrong or whatever, right? Well,
right.
My favorite is when he was debating Hillary toward the end of the 2016 one, and she points out a time that he waited several years to pay a bunch of guys who made all these windows for his hotel.
Right.
And she's like, that's the type of scum he is. These poor people had to wait for all their money. And he just says straight out, he's like, maybe I didn't like their craftsmanship. Maybe I thought they did shoddy work.
Right.
I was like, damn. And it takes balls. And I'm not saying to do that. Don't stiff people on their money, especially craftsmen. They depend on that. Absolutely, it's not good. But I'm saying he doesn't often dodge around his wrongdoing.
He's a dick, right? And here's the thing, man. If you, I don't. Sometimes I'm just flabbergasted by how people overcomplicate something. The man has been wildly popular for decades. For fuck's sakes, Patrick Bateman in a fictional story. Do you know who his hero was? Donald Trump.
Oh, no, I did not know that.
That is how much impact and influence this guy has had. So, of course, a country that watches The Sopranos, that watches and roots for the bad guy or the slick-tongued silver guy, of course he's going to say some shit like that, and people are going to be like, yeah. Of course he's going to fillet an idiot like Hillary Clinton who says, well, you haven't paid your taxes. He's like, I'm just enjoying the same benefits that all your friends enjoy. That
Yeah.
you enjoy. It's just that he said the inside part outside. And I think Trump will always be that friggin' that vote that people did to buck the system. I don't know how much people actually believe in him outside of his core constituencies and the undecided voters that do vote for him. I really do think he will always remain a protest vote against a system.
The system, the career politicians. That absolutely, I feel that. I'm sick of the lies because you know what the problem is like at least Donald Trump is admitting that he has all these flaws and blah blah blah. The Democrats claim they have no flaws, that they're righteous, good people who are just doing, they're altruistic and we're just trying to help everybody, which is clearly a lie. Just be friggin' real with me, man.
91 to 201, man. That's 69 away.
69 away.
I woke up this morning.
She hasn't broken 100, brother. She hasn't broken 100.
I woke up this morning to check the Hold Up TV and Fight Juice and all our channels to check our numbers, which I usually do. I just go around perusing, seeing where we're at. And I woke up today and my number was at 666 exactly. Ominous sign.
I have to leave the stream right now.
You remember those commercials from back in the day when we were kids where they would talk about the Antichrist and it was like a golden figure? Do you think that Trump in any way, shape, or form, given that some levels of ideology that that Christians fall into with Trump worship, do you think he's an Antichrist figure stealing Christians away from the church?
No, I don't. I just think there's nothing mystical about him all. He's just an asshole with money, and so no, I don't think he certainly isn't the Antichrist, or like I know what you mean by Antichrist figure. They're like there are multiple ones throughout history.
Yeah.
But once again, like I said, he knows at least to have reverence for Jesus and reverence for the church. You know, in that scene Ruslan was talking about, he at least did say, he's like, the problem with this country is people don't pray with their families. And here's what I'm saying, even if it's insincere, he knows to say it. And here's the thing, Kamala Harris will never say it.
But see, and that's the weird thing where, like, I guess we could do a whole Bible study on this, man. Aren't those the things that the Antichrist would say? The Antichrist isn't going to push you away from God. That's a common misconception. He's not going to tell you to do what you want to do. He's going to twist scripture just enough to pull you in line to a augmented view of what God's will is.
I mean, he has done it on several occasions. Particularly, here's what it is: the things he's been working on are so good, I think, are encompassed by the Democratic Party. Yes, I am comparing them to antichrist behavior.
Well, they're anti-Christian for sure.
Yeah, and so what it is this idea of like toxic empathy, where they're like, their idea is like, you have to let sinners do whatever and affirm what sinners are doing, because if not, then you're not being empathetic, and you're hating on someone. You're not love. God is love. They love to misuse that phrase from Paul, where he says God is love, and they think it's the or you know what it is. Satan has tricked us into thinking it's the end all be all of Christianity. Clearly, it's not.
Oh, you're talking about the most famous, misquoted, and most commonly used at a wedding. Love is kind, love is patient.
Right.
Actually, the context of that verse is to the Corinthians and how they should treat each other. And I love that people will neither read the scripture prior to it or the one after it.
Yeah. Letter to Corinthians was not about marriage at all. It's about how you conduct a church or whatever. And so there's a lot of that. People do this stuff all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like, for instance, people love to disrupt the they love to leave out the love of money. They like to say money is the root of all evil. It's all these misunderstandings of the Bible. But ultimately, here's what I'm saying. He can't be the Antichrist because Trump is hated so much. He's not the beloved. Basically, the Antichrist will have us so duped, we're going to love the crap out of the Antichrist.
You know, you've come so far in your Christian walk. You've obviously been on it longer than I have. We've not always agreed in regards to Christianity, but I've seen you secretly abandon certain viewpoints that you have, and it always warms my heart. Once I get you to completely disregard your dispensationalist, Zionistic views and truly accept a Protestant way of life, you will be welcome into the Lord's house.
so and that's what this thing. Me and you have been going to this Bible study, and they're evangelicals, and so evangelicals have certain beliefs, and I'm not dissing evangelicals. These guys who we do Bible study with, they are so learned. I've learned so much from them that I love what they do. However, the thing that I kind of want to give them pushback on is they have this idea that if you're saved, a switch is hit and you become a different person. And that's a lovely idea, but actually, not only is it happening through me and my own personal experiences, but through the Bible, this happens where people they grow in their Christianity.
Yes, the process of sanctification, right?
Yeah, and it's not sanctification isn't overnight, it's over time. And I will give you an example. One of the biggest examples in my own life is my thought on abortion. Even after I became a Christian, I still thought, well, what about these poor girls who get themselves in trouble? And I gave myself excuses for abortion. For years, I did this.
Right.
For years. And I had to eventually grow into it. And what is really odd, well, I think that this is just proof of God, proof of the Holy Spirit, all the stuff, is I remember the day that I did not accept abortion. And I was reading the Bible. However, I was not reading about the sanctity of life or any of that. I was reading the most random passage ever. I was just reading the Bible, and suddenly I thought I had this revelation. And I looked up from the book and I said, abortion is so wrong.
Right.
It's clearly murder. And I had convinced myself for most of my life that it wasn't, because I grew up in a household like that, in a city like, the community of New York City, is like that. Everywhere you turn, people are like into it. And so I had to grow into that. And I've grown into other ideas. Don't get me wrong. It's not just that. But what I'm saying is, what we feel today as a Christian may not be what you feel in a year or even a month or 10 years. It's a constant growing. It's a constantly growing into your faith.
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. You know what's crazy, man? I was doing some step work with my sponsor prior to this, right? And right now we're on the third step, and I have some complicated views on the 12-step philosophy, because it's born out of a cult. And so I can say some. Let me just. I'm that guy, Mantis. You know this about me. It doesn't matter if I sit with you in your group, right? If someone from that group asks me, like, well, what are your thoughts on the history of it? I'm like, well, it came from a cult. Right, and we can't change the history on that. But
Right. It's all good.
I do agree with you 100% that we're being changed and we are being sanctified every day. And the way that God plays, the way that the Holy Spirit works in our lives is a marvelous thing, man. Even just going to that Bible study, like I'll make no qualms about it. In the beginning, I was like, is this a self-help group about starting Christian businesses? Because I believe these serve a purpose. It's just not, I wouldn't call this a Bible study. But as of late, I've noticed that the pastor that leads it, or the teacher that leads it, he really is leaning into something that I really enjoy, which is that he's just preaching the gospel. I'm not talking about just shut up and dribble, right? His political ideology does not make its way into the scriptures. There's no eisegesis in regard to that, right? He's not pushing things on to scripture. He's merely reading scripture and espousing what is stated in scripture. And I think if you do those things, right, I think if more churches did those type of things and focused on what R.C. Sproul so eloquently put in one of his great books, which is the duty of the church is to reflect the holiness of God, we wouldn't have so many people worrying about the indigent needs of the poor. Because if you were really imbued with the Holy Spirit, right? If you were really imbued with the Holy Spirit and you were a part of these systems, you would call out the hypocrisy and the BS and the bureaucracy, right? I do believe that it is our job to care for each other, but not for the sake of political gain, right? You do it because your heart feels heavy for that person's situation.
Real quick, I will tell you. So I actually just listened to their latest podcast. So it's the guy it's the pastor who leads the Bible study, and it's his boss, and his boss is the one who kind of pushes that entrepreneurial thing. And what's funny is his boss actually said something that he said what happened. He was like, people wouldn't gravitate, and they were talking about politics. And just in general, he's like, people wouldn't gravitate to parties like the Democratic Party where they're handing out free stuff, and you're like, what can I get from these guys? He said, if the church did its job.
Yeah.
And then he was like, it's the church's job to look out for the orphans and the widows. Why aren't we doing enough so they don't turn to these corrupt organizations?
And let's keep it real. Historically, in Western cultures, the church was leading the charge. That's why we have so many institutions like orphanages, hospitals, and things of that nature. But absolutely, corruption can make its way into most places because humans are fallible, right? Humans are corruptible, and it's a sad thing to see. But we call them back to repentance the same way we call an institution back to repentance. And this goes back to what you asked me earlier, man. Like, if I said this in 2016 because I heard someone wiser say it, if Donald Trump is elected, I'm going to pray for him, right? Not pray against him. I'm not going to pray for his demise or his downfall. I'm going to pray that he's surrounded by more God-fearing people. I'm going to pray that he prays himself. I'm going to pray these things, man, because that's what we're called to do as Christians, right? And if our forebears who got eaten by lions in their only defense was to pray before their persecutors. Now, I do believe at a certain point you gotta, lift up the sword. Don't get it twisted.
Oh no, I don't get it twisted. I don't get that twisted. I am not involved enough as a Christian to truly turn the other cheek, but that's a story for another night.
At any rate, I'm sorry, man. So 201 to 91, my secret correspondent in the group that I'm in says that Trump is on track to win the popular vote.
Yo, absolutely. This is wonderful. I'm loving tonight. But I'll tell you. I think I told you that my pastor left, and since my pastor left, my church seems to be gravitating toward wokeness. And one of the things that happened is in the prayers of the people, when my pastor was around, there was one part of it that always said, "Let us pray for," and I'll give you an example of the current time thing. Let us pray for Peter, the mayor of our town, Kathleen, the governor of our state, and Joseph, the president of our nation, and anyone else who has the burden of leadership. May they be led to wise decisions. And
right.
So that all these visiting pastors don't do that.
Yeah.
And so when I asked, I was like, why aren't we praying for our leaders that they're led to a wise decision? And they were like, well, because of Trump and all this other stuff, what are we going to do? Start praying for him and all this stuff. And the concept was they feared politics so much that they didn't do their basic job as Christians.
Amen to that, man. I just want to acknowledge something in the chat really quickly. Izzy says, and as we're celebrating, I just like to say I'm just under 2 weeks away from my road test for my CDL to be a school bus driver. Izzy, congratulations, man. Amen, man.
God bless you, man. That is awesome.
I'm very happy for you, man. Also, Mandis, I deleted Spoon from my phone today. Went on there just to make sure it was dead and gone. And
I'm proud of you. I'm so proud of you.
I was like, oh, no VPN, no trying to mix it up with people in other countries.
what it is that all these people have been trying to do their hardest not to accept that something is dead. Right? And it's like you've got your girlfriend's corpse in your arms. Just fucking bury her and call the morgue or something. And everyone's like, no. If you change a VPN, you could go to Korea and keep streaming. What the fuck? What is this advice you're getting? It's horrible advice. Just go to an American streaming app. There's other streaming apps. What? Why hang on to this? Oh, look who just showed up. It's our man, Shaolin Iceboxer.
Shaolin, what's good, man?
What up, brother? We are here on election night. Yes, your eyes do not deceive you. The Fat Mantis is wearing a MAGA hat.
I want to send you something, man, that I think you would really enjoy. And I'm sorry if we've gone super Christian tonight, but I'm not sorry at the same time. I once heard a sermon from a pastor by the name of Brian Loretz, or Brian Loretz, depending on how you pronounce that name. And it's called This Is No Ordinary Book, where he, in about 45 minutes, breaks down the importance of scripture and how people have abused it in the past and making it like the fourth member of the Trinity. But he just so eloquently says over and over again, my friends, this is no ordinary book. And I'm going to send it to you. I want you to listen to it, and you'll understand why I land on things the way I do in regards to politics, because it's just like, it's so easy to get wrapped up in this, man. It's easy to make it another idol in your life. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like,
scripture?
Wait. No, politics, man.
Oh, right. No, absolutely. Because I've actually heard people criticize the like, yeah, you mean you worship the Father, the Son, and the book. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And so there are people who literally criticize how much Christians fall on scripture, although I'm going to fall on scripture. I'm like,
I mean, Paul addresses it, man. You can know scripture in your heart, still be far from God. So that's definitely something you have to be wary of.
I do think I actually am a believer of, I don't know what they call this concept, but if you keep reading scripture, if you keep reading it enough, it will change the way you view the world and stuff like that, and it's good.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Let's turn on the Young Turks. Let's see what's going on here.
Let's hear what these angry ass liberals have to say about losing tonight. Knock on wood. As soon as I do. Oh wait. Yeah, congratulations, Izzy, man, on the whole getting that Thank you all. Appreciate it for real. Shit's been hard to get where I am, but I'm not done yet. And you know what's actually funny? The other day, me and Steve streamed with a young DJ at Riz Radio named DJ Frenchie. And he also just became a school bus driver.
Congratulations to Frenchie and Izzy, man. Rico is reporting 198 to 112. Finally broke 100. All right, this is crazy. This is crazy. It's absolute madness.
You know, it is madness. Here's what I'm saying. I'm gonna see what a mainstream thing.
Some friends of mine are about to.
Why is this not moving? Why am I not here? I'm listening.
Some friends of mine about to jump on a Zoom call and pray it up right now, but I will obviously not be attending, but I just wanted to shout them out, those faithful brothers.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. Why is this not producing sound?
I think you muted it.
No, I didn't. It's there. It's playing. This is a weird stream.
Izzy says 28 and some change an hour. That's easy money. I'll take a few tests. That's right. Let's see.
Oh, whoa. Something weird is happening. So,
wow. Stream's still live, though. Don't worry about that.
Stream is live, but we weren't getting YouTube audio for whatever reason.
So. Yeah, that's why I watched that other thing on the internet. What's it called? You know, the fake YouTube. What's that shit called?
Rumble.
No, Vimeo.
Vimeo. It's what the hell is going on with my audio? Fuck you. Yeah.
Let me see. I can. Let's see if mine's.
Oh, I know. I think I got it on my other browser, but
Hey, DT Dub is in the building.
DT Dizzle, what up, bro?
Rico says the Associated Press provides the data that you find in the U.S. election results featuring on Google search. AP is a trusted source of information on election night. Thank you for that. When does this thing end? The back and forth is killing me. AP collects and verifies U.S. election results in every country, parish, city, and town across the country. It covers races down to the legislative level in every state, and this year will declare winners in about 5,000 contested races. Thank you. Thank you, Rico, for that well-written and articulated representation of the Associated Press. Whenever I think of the Associated Press, I think of the old school ticker tape news where it's like some guy sitting there with a little green hat like, this just in, Batman saved Gotham from the Joker.
Yeah.
And while Mantis is getting that, Berlin, what's going on, man? How are you living on this election night, my friend? How you doing? Also, Berlin, I did, as I stated on Instagram, I did finish that video. We'll figure out a day, man, so we can chop it up on that. But yeah,
are you not hearing this?
I'm not hearing it, but the volume on my screen shows that it's all the way down, like on your browser.
I don't have words because I can hear it like very loud and.
Yeah, let me try mine.
Serenity now, bitches.
Let me try
Serenity now. Come on.
Here, see if my screen has it. I just dropped it in there.
I can hear it. Can you hear it?
Yeah, I can hear it.
Okay. Associated Press. What the fuck? They're a joke.
Accurately reporting the news. That's not what I came for.
Trump landslide, which is different than saying they were predicting it's a landslide.
Okay,
Is this turn? You really love
we'll
it.
get to the discussion of the
These guys are going to fail you,
landslide,
bro.
a big win or whatever.
I don't think
But
anything
no matter how you
is-
slice it,
it's
big win for
just
Kamala Harris.
to watch
Gone.
different
That's
perspectives.
not going to happen. A
Because
big
I'm
win
going
for
to jump
Donald
over
Trump
to
is
Anthony
still on
Bryant
the board.
Logan in a
A
second.
win
here.
for Kamala Harris is
There
still
we
on the
go.
board. Let's go to Georgia.
Okay, so in Georgia, we're theoretically closer to a call, even though it is
So the Young
a tighter
Turks
race.
poll, I
So
don't know if you can see
he's
that
up by
there,
3 points
86%
right now. There's
believe
only
Donald
the issue
Trump
is that
is
there's only
already
9% of the vote left to be counted, and so it is quite likely at this point that he will end up winning that. It is tighter than it was earlier in the count.
So more counties are coming in favor of Kamala Harris. From Georgia's a slight upside, but 91% reporting. You really got 3% is not undoable. It's not undoable with that tight a window, but
20,000 votes difference. That's kind of not a lot. Let's go to CBS and see what they're talking about.
And let's go to the all-important Erie County, which we all focus on. Again, 32% of the vote in. Kamala Harris doing slightly better than, considerably better than Joe Biden did, at least at this stage of the evening in Pennsylvania.
We have a projection, but then I want to go inside the numbers in the other blue wall states of Michigan and Wisconsin. But first, CBS News projects that Iowa is for Trump, that the former president has won of Iowa. You see,
Hey, who was the moron that talking about Kamala's leading? Was it Iowa that said that she was leading? Really? 55.1% of the vote going to Trump versus 43.3%. This is a curb stomping. This is a curb stomping.
electoral votes now in the Republican.
He's the reporter we need. He's
John
the
Dickerson,
reporter we
want
all
to check
need.
in with you. What are the exit polls showing us?
She sounds like she's about to cry.
There's different splits
Oh, yeah.
with the electorate. We've also
Well,
talked about how there are shifts going on. Donald Trump is getting more of the African American vote than you might have expected, or you would have expected a Republican to get in the past. We've talked about Latino voters. Another key way to think about the electorate is between college and non-college voters. Particularly, let's look at white college voters. That's to say, voters with a college degree. So let's look at white voters with a college degree. Kamala Harris, 54 to 44. So that's a 10-point margin. The reason this is important is this is a key part of the new emerging Democratic base doing well with college-educated voters. That's 7 points better than Joe Biden did in 2020. He won that group, white college voters with a degree by only 3 points. Now let's look at the other group, which is the one that Donald Trump does well in, and that's white voters without a college degree. Now you see he is
You hear the disdain in his voice?
Kamala Harris, 65 to 33.
Excuse me, sir? Sir. Do you know you on television? I can hear you. Sir.
See, you can hear
What in the
it.
world was that? Am I tripping or did I hear something that I shouldn't have been hearing on television? Sir, you about to get a crazy FCC fine. What in the world was that?
Kamala Harris overperforming with white college voters. Donald Trump doing essentially as he did in 2020.
Man, I get it. I know what he meant, but come on, man. You're on television. Like, use your brain a little bit.
In the key battleground states. White non-college voters are a big part of Wisconsin and Michigan.
This is where we should have been all night.
In those states, the picture is a little bit more mixed. Now, I'm not going to have exit poll slides for you or graphics, but just to give you a sense of the picture. In Pennsylvania, the picture we just described, where Kamala Harris is doing well with white college voters, she's doing 19 points better than Donald Trump in Pennsylvania. Biden beat him only by 9. Trump is beating her by 29 points with voters without a college degree who are white, beating her by 29 points, but he beat Biden by 32. So the Pennsylvania story matches that national story. But in Wisconsin, and I'll just wind it down here, Wisconsin and Michigan, it's much tighter. White college vote for Harris is about what it was for Biden. White non-college, Trump is doing a little bit better in Wisconsin than he did in 2020. In Michigan, Harris is doing a little bit better among white college voters, but in white non-college, Trump is up by 3. So
he'll get
in
it,
those two key
I'm
states, the
confident.
picture's a little bit more mixed than at the national level. Nora, back to you wherever you may be.
I know, John. I decided to stay over here with Major Garrett.
Sure. Well, who can blame
you?
Who can blame you?
No offense to any of you, but of course, I'm geeking out over here at the board, and I wanted to know about Michigan and Wisconsin because we haven't yet.
Look at this. They have Kamala at 200 and hold on, wait, not 200. They got Kamala at 91 election.
Oh, got a little stream issue for Anthony Brian Logan.
They're probably taking him down. It's too illegal to speak the truth.
Trump at 207 electoral votes. Kamala at 91. Yikes.
211 to 91. She hasn't broke 100.
So again, Michigan, 23% of the vote.
Is he behind? Is he lagging
of the
behind?
vote in? Where is that vote that we still need to see come in? Where is it concentrated?
You know what? Is people were constantly
Milwaukee and
recalculating.
Madison.
They're calling places
Those are
early.
good, strong areas for the vice president.
Can we just we're gonna come back to that, folks, but there's something that I sent Mantis today, man, and again I want to bring some levity just for anyone that's stressed out tonight of something amazing that's happening on the internet. And if you're not watching it, and if you're unaware of it, then you need to know about it.
A few days ago, I did a video on this very young, talented creator called Very Scam Likely. He is like 19 years old, and he went over to Japan to clap some cheeks, and that story went crazy all over the internet. Now he's up to something new. He's looking for the SEGS, Female Offender Registry, and treating it like Tinder. He has a series on that, and I'm going to show you exactly how he does it. But stop the show. I want you guys to go down to the first comment pinned to the top. This is his link tree. He's also here on YouTube, Very Scam Likely. I want you guys to go and subscribe to his channel. Go to the first comment pinned to the top to get all of his information.
His name is
He's on
Very Scam
OnlyFans.
Likely.
He's on Instagram. Let him know your boy O'Shea Duke Jackson sent.
Oh my God, this guy's awesome.
There. And also TikTok.
Day one of the RSO tour. If you don't know what I'm talking about, basically wherever I'm at, I'm going to be treating the registered offenders list like it's Tinder. So after about 20 minutes of scrolling, I had to settle for something. I mean, of course, she's not looking great right here because it's a mugshot, but I see potential. Y'all already know what to do by now. Go to the Facebook, make sure they match up, and send that message. I told y'all I see potential, man. You got to like add the catfish points extra early. First, let's check her charges real quick. Basically, she put a minor on the blade, so that's freaky enough for me. This time, I went for a different approach. It's more sentimental, and it's a higher risk, but if they believe in God, it's going to be green. So I said, God always points me in the right direction. She said, LOL, why you say that? I said, he just wanted me to see your profile, and I don't even use Facebook. And she said, sounds sketchy. This is where I got scared. I almost fumbled. I said, if sketchy comes with you, I'm all for it. And she said, boy, I tried to clutch up, but it felt like Chris Paul hits a huge three to cut the lead down to 42. So then I just made it a competition. I had to get her attention somehow. And I said, I'm just too much for you. I get it. And she said, you just look young. So I set my age and a math problem. He said, no way you just set a math problem. That's kind of cute. I couldn't admire my work. I couldn't be like, oh, yeah, you know how to do it. So I just asked, you from here? And she said, yes, you better be too. It's crazy how the tables turn. At first she was being dry, and now she said, I better be from here. I'll leave Sunday. What we doing? Damn, so I can't even keep you for real. No, but you can leave your mark. Oh, my God. I work tonight till 10, but I'm free after. You better not tell anyone about this, LOL. I promise I won't tell nobody.
He says it in TikTok. Oh my God.
Let's see what happens.
So yeah, I got her number last night and we linked up. I was kind of nervous at first, but after I warmed up with some drink, everything was cool. I'm drunk as fuck, man. If you want to see the aftermath, I might put it on my exclusive content with my other tapes. Why score 0 points on Hall of Fame when you could drop 100 on rookie difficulty? There should be no V-card members on this earth anymore. Quick update on the best one we found so far. So one of her close friends reached out to me and was like, oh my God, I can't believe she was an offender. But I think she's currently in jail. So she texted her baby daddy, and I'm just waiting to answer. I'm going to keep you guys updated. Make sure y'all go fuck with my exclusive content if you want to see in-game footage or if you need help with anything.
He didn't win it. So he's going around the country, and then he basically hitting the female registry, and he clapped him up. She didn't look that bad either. You know what I'm saying? Like, so
yo, this kid is a boy genius.
Should do that or whatever, but it is interesting, and seems like he clapped her up.
Day 2 of the RSO tour. Basically, wherever I'm at, I'm going to treat the offenders list like it's Tinder. I can't eat when I do this. I would throw up. I'm not going to lie, y'all. Last night, I kind of crashed out, but let me explain. First of all, I was around so many women in real life, and I left with nothing, so I was kind of frustrated. And then I went through the list, and she was the only one on the list that I could find that would respond. And plus, it's for content. Like, if it wasn't for content, I would not link with her, right, guys? First step, you guys already know what to do. Find the Facebook. And then you want to check the charges. Yeah, her and that guy are on good terms. That's freaky enough for me. Now, I was kind of tripping at first. I just went straight for the kill, and I said what Kodak said. I only started with that because I was lit, and she looked like a stud. Sorry, you have the wrong person.
So basically, he's trying to flip this lesbian stud, man. Like, this is crazy.
I have the wrong person. I got the right one. Do you like girls? I do, actually. You just haven't found the right guy yet. Oh, wow. Yeah, we can still learn stuff about ourselves no matter how old. I don't even remember being this disrespectful. Never mind, I'll ruin your life, old lady. Why was I acting like this? My life couldn't get any worse, LOL. See, this is where I felt bad for her when she said this. Last night I had to give her something. I'm sorry. Here, text my phone number. So I was just texting her a little bit. I was picking her brain apart slowly, making her fall in love with me. Enough texting. I said, what time you get off? I'm trying to kick it tonight. She said, I get off at 1 a.m. She worked at the airport, so I said, all right, I'm going to take a lift there, and we're going to go back to your place. She said, okay, sounds good. Call me when you get here. All right, so I'm going to pick her up from the airport right now, y'all. This is so embarrassing, man. Like, just look at my eyes. You can tell how out of it I was. If this was me sober, I would not have done this. So therefore, I'm not even going to count this as a body. I don't even know if I'm going to post this video yet. I really don't know what happened last night.
You should get more
points.
remember.
If you want to see my tapes, the aftermath, my methods, go check out my exclusive content.
Make sure you go to linktr.ee/Barry Skim Likely with, like, put it here on the screen, editor. he done went to the airport and clapped up the lesbian.
That is
Yo,
totally
I would love to
nuts.
work with this dude, man. Like, if I could work with this dude on YouTube, man. Listen, every 5 years, there's one YouTuber that I want to really work with. And this is the dude I want to work with. Like, I would drop everything to work with this guy. This guy is a legend.
He's a
This
genius.
is the dude I want to work with for real.
Day 3 of the RSO tour. If you don't know, I treat the offenders list like it's Tinder. Hey, man, Caleb Plant tripping. So I started off.
You guys know Caleb Plant, the boxer, right?
Good. I found a lot of great thrift shops, but I just couldn't.
Yo, just real quick. Is this morally reprehensible? What do you think?
Well, actually, the easy answer is yes. However, we have to factor in certain things. Like, for instance, the dude is young and he's trying to get some. And I wish there was that kind of database when I was young. I'm just saying, here's what it is. He is playing the cards that God dealt him.
Right.
Like that.
Right.
You know?
Let's get back to Anthony Bryant Logan.
Wisconsin and or Michigan.
That was wild.
I knew that was gonna leave you like.
I can't even believe this.
Let's see what's going on here. Man, they're really messing with Anthony Bryant Logan, man.
Are you serious?
Blue Wave, your mama. Okay, hold on. Let's go to Daily Wire. See what they got going on. So they've not changed over at Daily Wire. They're still at 242 to 108 for Harris. They have Kamala in the lead in Arizona, but it's still really a thin margin. 49.7 to 49.5 on Daily Wire. They called Virginia for Kamala, 50.2% of the vote compared to 48.1. Pennsylvania, they got Trump in the lead, 60% of the vote, 50.9%. Now listen, Pennsylvania, they're saying that the vote may not be totally tabulated until 2 days from now.
Oof.
But if the outstanding vote is not enough to make up the difference, make up the margin, then you can go ahead and just call it, because it doesn't even matter if you count the votes.
Right.
It's not going to be enough to make a difference. All right. And again, this is
if he
Wire.
exceeds
This is their math. All the
270,
maps are
he's
different.
won,
I
and
just showed
he
you
doesn't need it.
Google. So this one, Google had 210 to 113. Daily Wire has 242 to 108. This is Washington Post. They don't even have it's probably about the same as so what's this? Reuters. Let's go to Reuters. 207, 91 Harris. Man, 91. Yikes.
91.
Let's go to
If that's
Fox.
the real number,
211.
Jesus.
So I guess some type of what's that? like Nebraska, some weird stuff. I don't know. One of these places that got like.
Yo, why does Daily Wire have 242
anyway,
for Trump? What is that?
That's what's going on right now.
I'm going
Georgia
right now
with 89.95% of the vote. Trump's up 51%, 51.1%. North Carolina, 84.52% of the votes in, 50.77% of the vote going to Trump. Virginia, they've not called it yet on Fox. 33.14% of the vote in, 48.4 for Trump, 49.4 for Harris. Doesn't look good for Trump in Virginia, but Pennsylvania looks good. 62.69 with Trump in the lead.
I wouldn't be surprised if he takes Pennsylvania, man. I live there,
looks
and I
good
would
early.
Yes, exactly.
56.4%.
Pennsylvania would definitely vote for Trump.
7% for Trump.
And I'm ashamed of Virginia. My old
Minnesota's still early. Arizona looks good.
Fucking shit up.
I'm confident. I'm
Being
confident.
beta.
I'm confident. I don't really see how this goes any other way other than the right way. What do y'all think? Be confident? We're going to go ahead and just bring it on home. Is she getting stomped into wine? What do y'all think?
Guys, be confident.
All right. Let's go ahead and go here.
You know, obviously it's not over till
Trump
it's over.
led this group by 3 points in 2020. So he is, in fact,
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. It's definitely his stream. It's not us.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they're
Trump.
attacking.
That's an 8-point margin that she's leading by. Biden led with this group by 25 points. Kellyanne was just talking about this a moment ago. He led by 25 points with this age group back in 2020. She is significantly underperforming with the younger voters right now. Want to jump back in and also talk about
she doesn't offer anything.
Hey, when Trump wins, I might just go crazy. I might just cover my face in Cheetos.
What do you think is gonna happen tomorrow, man? Like, I don't think there's gonna be civil unrest or anything like that, but I do believe there's just gonna be a general, like, I assume I'm walking into work tomorrow and there's just gonna be a level of depression and anxiety. Did I ever tell you the story about when he won the first time and I went to a meeting, and the meeting hall I was at was in West Hollywood, and some person who suffered from homelessness claimed that after Trump won, he was walking down West Hollywood Boulevard and a car in West Hollywood Boulevard drove by and screamed out, "Die, F word." Now, just like when Juicy Smoulier said that.
I hear stories like that, all like similar stories that are all based on people's fears or their exaggerations. You know what I'm saying? Saying like, they're like, the kid was just walking and the police started beating him. And I'm like,
well, I mean, that happens.
No, but you know what it is? An altercation happens. And when they leave the altercation out of the story, you know something's up.
Yeah, if there's no preceding facts. What do you think? So what do you think it's going to be like for millions of Americans tomorrow, man? What's the view going to be like if he wins? And I mean, at this point, I'm calling it, man. Like, if she comes back somehow, then you're finally going to have me on your side of the table. Like, yo, this is rigged, man. It's
right. So here's what I'm saying. If Trump wins, here's the thing. I don't understand the liberal tears. I don't understand the liberal freak out. I don't understand what motivates them to act like this at the end. I'm sure there'll be protests or whatever, marches, pussy hats all over again. Why can't they just accept that they've lost? I don't know what that is. I don't understand it.
Right.
Look what happened when the conservatives tried to have a protest because they lost. That went totally south. Let's hope that doesn't ever happen again. But they don't do it right. They don't understand protesting the way liberals do. But we're gonna have a lot of bitter people. I just wish that they could just get used to losing.
Wait, yeah, you know why they don't understand protesting the way liberals do? Because they were like, you did something horrible, so now we're taking action. Whereas liberal protests seem to be geared towards, hey, go everywhere but where there's a problem. Stay in your communities and destroy.
Stay in your community, pout publicly, cry publicly, just be a general nuisance to companies that have nothing to do with the situation, right? So they're protesting in front of like a Starbucks or a fucking, whatever, a Dollar General. It's like these niggas did nothing to you. Go to Washington, bro. But I assume there's gonna be more. I just wonder how much energy do they have for this? Do they have like infinite energy to just keep protesting every little thing?
No. You know why? Because we talked about this when Kamala was announced, and I said this to you. They've already resigned themselves to losing. This was just a fight to make it appear as though they were putting up a fight. There have been wild reports talking about how they had already resigned, just given up and knew that there was going to be another Trump presidency. I really do, because if they wanted her to win, then Biden would have been out before all of this. They would have put together an appropriate amount of strategy and campaigning time, or they would have ran someone. Here's a wild freaking thought for you: they would have ran someone from the DNC that had a chance of winning.
Here's like another wild thing. It's just like talking to the liberals and they don't get it. Is that when you confront them with the idea that she's not a good candidate, they kind of give you a blank stare.
Yeah,
they don't understand. They have no concept of that.
Yeah,
and they literally respond. And I'm sorry to belittle you guys, anyone who's listening or into this thing. They literally respond to the idea that whatever their media is saying, they believe. So for this entire time, they've thought she's been on cloud nine and she's ahead of everything merely because liberal media loves her.
Right.
And they didn't factor in who is she really catering to. I got into a fight with one of my family members about I told her that I was like, she should have never turned down Rogan.
Oh, 100%.
And she's and this family member was like, no, Rogan's just a horrible, evil man. Why would she want to do that? And all this stuff. And I was just like, this is about winning. This has nothing to do about emotions about Rogan.
No, you tell no lies, my friend. You tell no lies.
And so they're unable to see their own flaws. They're unable to criticize themselves. It's not a good place to be. In life, you have to be somewhat self-aware. And so when you're failing, you have to come to the point where you have to be like, well, where did I fuck up? And you know what? And then you have to be like, well, maybe I fucked up in this part. Maybe I did this wrong. Maybe I did this not so good.
Oh man, you're talking about a level of omission, a level of honesty that they would have to. Mantis, I don't know if you know what you just described. That would destroy their party. They would have to admit to so many things, right? They would never stand a chance in any election again. I'm going to play something for you, my guy, and then we're going to come back to the slaughter.
Then when Trump came and did the 3 hours, I was like, you know what? It has to be like this. This is the only way.
To be fair, it's got to be this, a threat.
It should be in this room.
Yes.
Because this room has a history of people expressing
vibes, actually.
Yeah, it's got good vibes.
Yeah, it does.
Well,
I love this room, actually.
I subscribe to the idea that places have memory.
Yeah,
I think there's something real to that.
That's why it does feel that way, actually.
Yeah.
Some new age
sure if you go to
shit.
Diddy's house, it probably feels really weird.
You
Probably feels
know-
weird walking around that house, probably like, what the fuck happened here?
Yeah.
I bet there's some memories in that house.
Sounds rough, man.
Well, it's just amazing how many people in the Diddy party list that are supporting Kamala. Too.
Yeah, seriously. It's insane.
Publicly, openly, all in.
Yes. It's like J-Lo was his ex-girlfriend. and it's now deciding she's warning people against Trump. I'm like, well, wait a second. So how many people did she warn against Diddy?
Right.
Oh, 0. Okay.
Right.
Well, maybe we shouldn't trust her opinion.
Did you see that of it?
We were talking about this on mic check, and I thought you would get a kick out of that.
Yeah, that's hysterical. That's hysterical. We trust her instincts because she dated Diddy for so long and didn't know he was a pimp and a human trafficker.
Right. Madness.
Laney says Kamala wasn't even voted in. It was BS. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so the reason why that actually happened was, so Biden had been collecting money for a while and he had a shitload of money, right? Huge coffers. The thing is that these people donated to the re-elect Joe Biden and Kamala Harris fund, right? And so here's what happens. If he leaves and she leaves, they have to give all the money back and start fundraising from scratch. And so they had to finagle a way to make sure that they could keep the money. And they were like, well, let's have Kamala just do it. Even though she wasn't voted in, it was this very shady thing. But it was all about money. It was about keeping the money that they had collected.
Oh, you know what? I want to go somewhere crazy. I was going to go to Fox, but I was like, I need something a little bit crazier than that. So let's go to Max News. Let's see what's going on.
And just remember, we are not responsible for the opinions aired on the Fanboy Modeling School.
Wait, is Newsmax not doing a live stream? Oh, there we go.
That would be insane. That would be the craziest thing I've heard all night. And what? Once again, I'm not surprised. I certainly didn't call it that she was going to get stomped. I knew he was going to win. He hasn't won yet. I'm talking like he won. I shouldn't, knock on wood. But I knew she wasn't doing well because she wasn't doing well amongst young men or men in general. That party offers nothing to men.
Yeah, no, it's not
with their toxic, their toxic empathy and their feelings. I'm feeling this. I'm feeling that. It's very womanly. It's very View, right?
Yeah, no,
and
absolutely.
And when they have Tim Walz come up, and he seems like a nice enough guy, he is definitely a beta male. He's the definition of a beta male.
No, 100%. I'm sorry, I was a little distracted. I was trying to check in with the far reaches of the internet, see what ONN is doing, but they're not live.
Yeah, because we want somebody who's both far reaches, but also reporting, right? Actively reporting. But Tim Walz was a joke.
Man. All right, welcome back to N2 special coverage of election night. John Bachman here, Bianca.
Yeah, he's basically your setup is more sophisticated
than him.
States
with you, both in the presidential race and on Senate races. Let's start in Pennsylvania and take a look at where things stand right now. And as you can see, there's a lot of red here on the map. The other thing we've seen as well in the last few minutes is Donald Trump starting to build on his lead. He's at 50% now. Kamala Harris is at 48%. Again, 66% of the votes have been counted thus far. Again, Donald Trump with the lead in Pennsylvania. We just want to caution you, though, things do tend to change sometimes when they bring in the votes after the fact, and we will be watching this very closely. Some more votes have just come in. 67% of the precincts now reporting all their votes. And again, Donald Trump has a slight lead there, though we were cautioned that it could take a little while to find out the ultimate result for Pennsylvania. Let's head over to Wisconsin right now. And we were talking about this before. Donald Trump also building his lead a little bit here, 60% of the votes in some of these lower counties, like down here in Wisconsin, they went for Joe Biden last time around. They are going for Donald Trump this time around. All right, let's take a look at these Senate races too in Pennsylvania and Wisconsin as well. In Pennsylvania, looks like Bob Casey is losing now to Dave McCormick here, a razor-thin margin.
I'm seeing Google says 179 to 214 Trump. And so it's because they finally called New York, which is a shitload of points.
Donald Trump are both out.
Is it we lost his audio or
no, we didn't lose his audio. We're gonna go somewhere really sad.
I don't care that they're that they were correct
this
in their
asshole.
analysis.
Fucking hate this guy.
What's going on? The bandwidth on the internet,
and
right now,
everyone, I think
everyone is
less
like
likely
YouTube
directly as a consequence of
like
how horrible she's performing in the areas that she was supposed to be performing in. I don't think it's going to be able to make up with the mail-in voters.
She has never had it. She's never been there. She hasn't. The politics of joy, as they call it, didn't get us anywhere.
She did relatively okay in the Atlanta area, but just you can't survive the rest of the entire state moving away from you by as much as it does. God, she's probably going to only win New Jersey by 7.
Yeah, I saw something earlier. Oh, this is it. This is the one. Kamala Harris with 95% of precincts reporting is polling at 67.8% of the vote in New York City. If that holds, that would be the worst performance for a Democratic presidential candidate in the 5 boroughs since 1988.
Which is Reagan.
Like Kathy Hochul said.
Reagan turned New York red, by the way. Did you know that?
Yeah, it's like They looked at 2022. They looked at the worst performing aspects of 2022, which was New York. And they literally were like, let's nationalize that strategy. Let's talk to the center. Let's do the crime panic shit that was a demonstrable failure in New York in 2022 in the midterms. That and let's just do that on a national campaign. This is why I always told my chat, Democrats do not fucking learn lessons. They never learned the lesson from 2016.
I agree.
They never learned that lesson. There was a brief progressive momentum in the Trump administration because, like, obviously they were falling apart so disastrously, so spectacularly that, like, there were a lot of victories, a lot of races that were secured by, like, the Justice Democrats or groups like that, but. Ultimately, this was very closely resembling a 2016 run in many respects, with not as an unpopular candidate with Kamala Harris. Like, at least she didn't have. You talked about Hillary Clinton's like electoral successes, but like,
did you send me something?
She didn't have conspiracy theories and all the other shit, all the other undesirable shit that was associated with the Clintons in general, or even NAFTA, right? Like, she didn't have any of that baggage. But even then, she still.
I just want to make sure I keep an eye on these people, right? Because these are the people that are going to lead the revolt. So that's what your boy Steve does. I'm Batman of the internet, and I'm just watching, right?
Right.
I'm Bruce Wayne sitting.
Basically, like, if you look at Kamala, he is smart, and he's speaking the truth. Democrats do not learn their lessons, right? Nope. And so, there's an arrogance about the Democratic Party. After all, they're all elites. Everybody thinks the Democratic Party is made up of these poor people. We give bread to the poor people. They're not Democrats. Actual Democrats are elitists who have money, and they're coastal cities. They're liberals. And they're like super college educated, if not even higher educated peoples, right? And so they are so arrogant. And so this campaign for Kamala has been so arrogant. They literally thought that she could not speak a word of policy.
Yeah.
And she would be president.
Yeah.
I mean, that is totally deranged. That's a deranged.
I've made that point to people, and I've made the point that the fact that you're defending her, saying that she doesn't have to, is wild. Izzy just sent me something. Let's see if this how real this is, man. Izzy sending me some crazy shit.
What is this?
So it's on X, breaking: the election has been compromised. ABC television just aired the 2024 election results on ESPN Live TV during Formula One. ABC and affiliates show Kamala Harris' victory on screen. They're going to pull the same shit again. Oh, okay. I guess that's what that is. I guess that was supposed to be a glitch. It's fun to visit these parts of the internet, Izzy, but I would stay away from it.
Yeah, I mean, if it happens, I'm going to give Izzy super props. We're going to hire him for his radio. But it seems if it is stated here, it's just a glitch. I don't know.
Where's Crowder, man? Crowder's not talking?
Is he not? I'm sure he's probably solo Rumble. He's solo Rumble these days.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah, they kicked him too many times off of YouTube, and he's like, he doesn't do YouTube. He's solely Rumble.
He's live.
There we go. Laney O says, "F you, my home state."
On the right, they blamed on the right wing. They blamed the assassination attempts. Remember, like, you're doing this to try and plump up your numbers.
Yeah.
What?
Then they said it was Iran. It's like, pick a fucking
I know.
Pick a straw man.
Which enemy would you like it to be?
Let's go.
Because they
we have
don't
the
want it
video
to be
with
the
the audio from
Democratic
DeKalb
Party.
County, or
They'll
are we
say
still having
Iran
issues with
because
the audio? There was a
they don't want
librarian
people to
talking
point
about the
to
bomb
Democratic
threats.
Wait, say again, brother?
They're subtitling it and exporting it now.
They're talking about who they blamed on the assassination. They're blaming all these different groups, and they never once did the Democratic Party come up as a possible suspect of the assassination.
From 2020 to 2024. Okay, Miami-Dade was an 18-point swing, right? And this, guys, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe it was an 18 percentage point swing. that we saw, not 18,000 votes, 18 points. Okay, Broward, we saw a 13-point swing. Palm Beach, we saw a 12-point swing. Now, we know it's Florida, so a lot of Hispanics. But Miami-Dade has 123,000 Jewish citizens. Broward has 149,000 Jewish citizens. Palm Beach has 134,000 Jewish citizens. So we're looking at, Miami-Dade, 123,000 Jews, an 18-point swing.
I think we got a Jew
Broward,
problem.
we have 149,000, a 13-point swing. Palm Beach, we have 134,000 Jews. We have a 12-point swing. That is something that is significant because Florida it was a swing state. You may not remember. People used to stay up for Florida, right? People used to stay up for Florida because it was such a swing state. We're looking at right now potentially a win from Donald Trump by 1 million votes. I don't know if that's still holding true. Let's have Mission Control get me those numbers, but certainly a much, much larger margin. We were wondering before this election how many Jews were going to be pissed off with the Democrat Party because of what they see with the rhetoric out of, not only Kamala Harris, who ran 2 competing ads, by the way, in Pennsylvania, I believe, or was it Minnesota, where she ran one for the terrorist sympathizers, and then she ran one for the Jewish citizens.
Yeah. I didn't know that. I did not know that.
Can you give me the total number, too, of people in Miami-Dade?
6 million.
18-point swing. This is significant. We haven't seen huge changes, right, with other numbers. In other words, we're not seeing something else that sticks out like a sore thumb, but we are seeing an 18-point swing, which suggests that if Donald Trump is peeling off the Jewish vote by just a few percentage points, hey, that might be the reason for it. So then you can look at places like New York. We're going to look at some of the swings that we're seeing, by the way. So let's look at New York. I asked them to cross-reference this on a hunch, and they are cross-referencing this. So 2020 to 2024, the county swing that we see in Brooklyn, 11.6. Manhattan, 10.7, a swing to Donald Trump. Queens, 21. Okay. Let's do those numbers again. New York, Brooklyn, 542.
I mean, it is the Daily Wire. Daily Wire has him at 246 and her at 169.
I still am confident right now. Remember, never be overconfident. Anything can happen. Just like, you know how these Democrats cheat.
Yeah.
And I don't want to apologize. I'm not apologizing, but I do want to like reach out to anyone who let's say we have fans, and I know we do. Some I love personally, who are Democrats. I'm not trying to hate on you. I'm not trying to shit on your party. I mean, I am shitting on your party, but I just hope we're able to overcome this and get past this.
D says over in in Rumble, I just got home and I see people still out here voting. I need Daddy Warbucks to win. Honestly, I'm too poor to be a Democrat. They have all the money because all they do is steal it instead of helping out Americans. It's a fact.
Yes. Yes, no, absolutely. She is 1,000. Please star that comment or something, because that is a good ass comment. We do need Daddy Warbucks, which is funny because Daddy Warbucks has been like a nickname for me for a long time. But I know she's talking about. The T-Man right now, and that's the thing. Here's what it is. We need our economy to get back on track, right? And his economy during his run was really good. Right. So yeah, please let's get this back on track. These votes keep coming in. I'm confident this is going to happen. I have faith. But we'll see.
I'm trying to find this thing Faircon said about Trump, but right now it's not. The algorithm is not being kind. Man, what an interesting night it's been. I knew we were in for a humdinger when I came down here and he was already up to 90 and she was only at 20. I was like, oh boy.
Yeah. Izzy says, if Kamala wins, I'm going to break my leg so I don't get drafted.
Not going to matter, Izzy. They're just going to give you stem cells.
Yeah, they're going to force you in there. They're going to give you crutches and throw you out of a plane. And you're going to end up in some godforsaken hole like North Korea or something. Lainey says, I'm packing my bags and moving to Sweden. Well, don't leave me, please. Let's go together. Her plane's gonna fly by. I'm like, lady, don't.
Oh man.
Oh man. I mean, yo, let me ask you a question. You've heard about all these celebrities. I'm sure you've heard of all these celebrities who make statements. I'm going to move out if Trump wins. I'm going to move to another country. I'm going to move, blah, blah, blah. Would you ever move for a political reason?
Only if my family was in an immediate danger. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the only way I would like it. Like it would have to be something where I felt as if though my family was in immediate danger. And then yeah, I'd be putting down everyone in my way trying to stop me from leaving the country. No matter if you be friend or foe. If you're like, Steve, just wait a day, pow. Yeah, that would be it. Because I'm a family man. That's the only contingency. As long as my family's safe, we're staying put. I would not have done well during Jim Crow era. You know, I'd have got my whole family slaughtered because I would have shot a Klansman for sure.
Yes, you would have. I can attest that would happen.
Right, for sure. What do we got here? What do we got? Can you see? You can't see.
Izzy says, I identify as an elderly man. They got to respect that, right? That's their belief system.
I mean, until they don't. Until they don't.
Laney laughs and says, we can go together. Yeah, please don't leave me. Don't make this Afghanistan where I'm running and I'm hanging on to the landing gear as you're flying off.
Women's rights is pretty much to them and my daughters. Sorry,
oh no!
Who is this beta?
I don't know, but I want to hear what he has to say.
Matt Cat's like, wow, this is so embarrassing, is what Matt Cat says. I wonder what Matt Cat is doing right
I voted for Kamala Harris.
Why is that?
I have 3 daughters, 4 children overall, and women's rights is pretty important to them and my daughters. Sorry, I'm getting a little emotional about that. I didn't think that I was going to do that, but just their bodies, their choice type of a mentality. I want them to grow up in a world that's welcoming to everybody. So yeah, that's why I cast my vote today.
Who'd you vote for today?
Wow.
That was sad. It was sad that men like that exist.
Digits in Burke County. We check in on Luzerne County, and again, we've been talking about this one as that same day vote comes in. This is Wilkes-Barre, this is Hazleton, another county with a substantial Hispanic population, one of the highest in Pennsylvania. Now Trump has hit his 2020 number there, and he's got a long way to go here. All that vote that's still to come in, we expect to be election day vote. The pattern, the trend is pretty clear here. So again, you're seeing Trump in good position in one of those big counties, densely populated counties in northeast Pennsylvania. Take a look down here at Cumberland County. We talked about this one a little while ago. This was a big hope for Democrats in Pennsylvania coming into tonight. Again, 95% means basically it's all in Cumberland County.
In Cumberland.
2020
Only Cumberland.
looked like this. It's basically the same. It's a fraction of a point different. But that's a win for the Trump campaign because in the context, look at this. It was an 18-point race. Trump won here by 18 points in 2016. Democrats made a huge jump. This was one of their biggest in the state in 2020, bringing it down to 10. They wanted to keep this going tonight. They didn't. Trump was able to stop the losses in Cumberland County. So again, that's something that encourages
a bad candidate.
Exactly wanted to see right there.
If I dare say it, I actually think Hillary was way better a candidate. Hillary had things to say and plans and ideas.
Yeah, again, like Laney stated, and like I've been saying, man, she wasn't even the candidate, bro. That's the part that's wild as we talk about insurrection, as we talk about the destruction of democracy, and you can try to spin it whatever way you want, but if her constituency didn't get a chance to vote her in, then there was no primary.
Yes, exactly. And so you don't have the basis of your fans. It's almost like the way in the MCU, like how I criticize MCU for making products that don't have a fan base. It's the same thing. She didn't have a fan base, right? She didn't have a electoral base. And what's funny? Biden is gonna tell them he told them so. He's gonna be able to chew their ears off about how they fucked up by replacing him, because he can now forever argue I would have been a better candidate, and we'll never know.
Trump is 230, says Berlin. Daily Wire says he's 246. Berlin says let's go. Izzy says Wall Street already predicted Trump's win.
And you know, it's funny. Yeah, there was some guy who was reporting the stuff earlier this week, and he did the math, and he's like, Trump's going to win, and he says, and don't be shocked. He says, don't pretend like you weren't warned. I just warned you. And so boom, there it is. And so tomorrow when the pussy hats come out and people crying in the streets, oh God, my life is over because my candidate didn't win. Don't act like you didn't know this was going to happen.
You
think
they'll be giving away free food? Now, here's the thing. I just want to go on record in case Mantis and I got this entire thing wrong and the slave camps do open. Whose house can I come stay at? D, Berlin, any of my white conservative friends gonna let me and Mantis move?
I'm going to Canada, bro. And I know I talk bad shit about Canada. As a matter of fact, one of the chief issues when I I got into beef with my sister because I stated that Kamala Harris was Canadian.
Right.
And so about this whole thing that she spent her high school years in Canada.
Which,
in my opinion, it's so formidable that makes you Canadian. Like, if someone's just like, I spent, they're like, in elementary school and junior high school, I was in America, but then in high school, I spent in Canada. Come on, you're Canadian. Your mind is warped to whatever gay shit is going on up there. Right? So
the real North.
Yes, but the real North. But people, liberals do not like being reminded that she used to live in Canada. They don't like that at all.
Yeah, that's what happens when you have a weak candidate.
They just pulled their Podesta moment.
Weak across the board.
Do you remember when John Podesta came out on stage and said, "Everyone go home now"? They're doing it. They're doing it. Subject: what we're seeing so far. Team. As the polls close across the country, I want to give you an update on what we're seeing. This is an internal memo leaked from the Kamala campaign.
Oh, boy.
This is a race within race, battleground states. The race is what we prepared for. While we continue to see data trickle in from the Sunbelt states, we've known all along that our clearest path 270 lies through the blue wall states. We feel good about what we're seeing. Freaking liars. You're liars. You're dirty scumbag liars. In Pennsylvania, blah, blah, blah. In Wisconsin, Michigan, blah, blah, blah. Okay, don't care. Polls just closed in Nevada and Arizona as expected. Be a while before we have information. Well, we've been saying for weeks this rate might not be called tonight. No, it will be called tonight.
It's going to be called tonight.
Those of you who were around for 2020 know this well. Yeah, it takes time to count all the votes, and the votes will be counted. This is how our system works. The race won't come into focus until the morning hours. We'll keep you updated with more information. This is what we built for. Let's finish up what we have in front of us. Get some sleep. Get ready. Kamala Harris.
Her campaign said, "Get some sleep."
I'm losing. I'm gasping for air. The Kamala Harris campaign just admitted that they lost. They just told their supporters to go home and get sleep. We are team no sleep here. We are team never quit. We are team always grind. We've beaten them, and they know it.
Which really means, here's what she means: go to sleep, and tomorrow she's going to file lawsuits and claim that things were cheating and all this stuff.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Senate map. Let's toss it up, or we can go over here so we can navigate. Here, why don't we hop on over?
Dude, what's democracy these days? Prophecy coming true? Trump's the end of America as we know it. JK. Yeah, no, it's bizarre. It's bizarre the way Democrats run their whole thing, and the fact that so many blacks, which they used to have the do you remember this when we were kids? Yeah. They used to have the monopoly on the black vote. The fact that they won't even abide by them anymore is fascinating. And, perhaps they need to change their whole game.
Oh, yeah. Or deliver on their promises.
Let's start a fight, shall we? So I guess Warner Brothers is doing a Green Lantern TV series or maybe movie. I'm not quite sure. It makes sense because, as I mentioned in the Black Cops video, There's a new thing for like having police shows that aren't actually about police. You know, fantasy police. The Lantern Corps from Green Lantern are essentially space cops, and this allows them to have all the cool propaganda, you know, action cop stuff without actually thinking about what cops
That's a real
really
thing
do.
that
So
people
you
are-
know,
yeah.
so enjoy guilt.
No, I've heard that term before, but it's funny you use
also
it for
in
Green
agreement
Lantern.
with the video is the fact that they announced that the lead person is going to be Green Lantern John Stewart, one of the lesser heralded but truly iconic and possibly first ever Black superheroes. And he's going to be played by rising star Aaron Pierre. And this set off some discourse in the last couple of weeks that I just, again, been busy,
I like
a lot
his
going
mic.
on. I didn't get a chance to chime in.
It's cool.
And I probably am glad I'm waited a while because I don't think the take I'm about to give would have been well received during the heat of the conversation. A lot of Black comic fans are a little annoyed at the casting. Some people are calling this colorism, people whose opinions I genuinely respect, by the way, and I get why that was the initial reaction. Others, many of whom really shouldn't be all that loud in this conversation, are saying, well, he's still Black. What's the big deal? Which, yeah, but I'm somewhere in between, but for reasons I haven't really seen discussed. That's what this video is for.
Tell me how you really feel, motherfucker.
I personally am perfectly fine with this casting, but how I also feel like people who have issues with it are justified, even if they're maybe justified for the wrong reasons, and also why I am still worried about what this means for future representation for Black people and Black
I think it's
men
funny
in
how
our media.
I admit
So
it, I
first,
didn't like
let's
that he was
point
still light
something
skinned
out.
as well.
Having dark skin.
Say again.
I didn't like that they cast the light skin for John Stewart either. John Stewart, in my opinion, is darker than this light skinned dude, but everyone seemed to like him. I didn't see Rebel Ridge, but everyone who did liked him in it, and so that makes me feel better about it. But when I originally saw it, I was like, "What? It's colorism." Because here's what I'm saying: I don't like woke stuff, but I am the first to say Hollywood suffers from colorism.
Okay, I wouldn't disagree with you there. I wouldn't disagree with you there, man. Here's the thing, though. I think you mentally pivoted to, okay, everyone's saying that this guy is a good actor. You know, he might do the character justice, which is an appropriate response to have. Like, okay, that's weird. Why did they pick a light-skinned dude? Why couldn't it just? Is there a shortage of capable Black men, like dark-skinned men, that could play this character? But technically, he's not dark skinned, he's brown. Yes. Everyone wants to go to the polar extremes on that situation, but it's okay to pivot to like, yeah, man, you know what? It is still a brother. He's not from this country, so I take umbrage with that.
Are you serious?
I don't know if he's not from this country. I don't know.
I hate these fucking foreigners playing our superheroes.
A few shades lighter in movies and TV shows is something that happens a lot with Black characters. Most significant is probably Storm, who has only been played by lighter skinned actresses compared to what the character looks like in comics. There's also Rue from the Hunger Games, who gave one of the earliest moments of anti-woke nonsense in nerd media way back when that movie first dropped, and she was played by a lighter skinned Black actress. But if you go and you look at the book, the actress probably should have been darker, and it still didn't make a difference to the audience, who said, I can't believe Rue is Black at all. One of the goofiest examples of this comes from Resident Evil 5 of all places, where the character Sheva, who was supposed to be South African, I don't know where these notes are, but I know I saw this, where the developers, the Japanese developers, made some final tweaks to the character to make her more appealing. And when you look at the character a little closely, like not when it's in the middle of the game, but when you just pay attention to what the character looks like, you notice that her face is a good 3 or 4 shades lighter than the rest of her body. So basically they said, we need to make her look more like Beyonce. And like,
is Beyonce even Black?
Shit looks silly once you focus on it. And
Am
the
I right?
silliest,
Am I right?
The silliest
Beyonce's
thing
Black
is Zoe Saldana.
Have you seen her?
Basically doing blackface.
She's so fucking light. She's lighter than me, bro.
Yeah, this is wild. The blackface Nina Simone. Are you up to speed on this?
I don't know. I'm not.
Oh man, yeah. It's funny how under the radar this went, but it was kind of like.
I mean, look at the shit. The shit looks silly once you focus on it. And the silliest thing is Zoe Saldana basically doing
leave it.
blackface to play Nina Simone when they
I've
could have
seen
just
that.
gotten
I've
a
seen
darker
this.
skinned black woman
Oh,
to be
okay.
the actress.
Okay.
Instead, they got the lightest woman they could and then slathered paint on her face because
Zoe Saldana is not black.
Or to be specific,
She's part black.
and here's
And
where
she has
things are
said that many
complex.
times.
That's really mostly how Hollywood does black women. And this is gonna throw some people off. So just follow me for a second.
There's a
Just chill out in
28-minute
the
video. I'm not sticking around for this. I just wanted to get your thoughts on it, man.
No, but the colorism is real. People need to acknowledge this. Start hiring darker actors occasionally. I'm not even saying across the board.
We'll
I'm
go
just
into
saying
Pennsylvania.
occasionally.
Yeah.
That's right. The other is Philadelphia. So we'll put this map into motion here.
All right, let's see.
Put the slide bar out, okay? She's nearly meeting her number in Allegheny, off a half a point. Trump's doing slightly better.
That's Pittsburgh.
Just 0.6 points. The last time I looked at that, she was dead even with the number from Joe Biden from 4 years ago on a percentage-wise. Come over here to Philadelphia, because this is really where, if you're a Democrat and you want to win the state, you got to run your numbers up in Philadelphia. And this kind of matches what I just read from America's big cities. In Philadelphia, she's underperforming Biden's mark from 4 years ago. And Trump is overperforming where he was 4 years ago. So, when you think about the number of votes that are available in Philadelphia, and you have 300,000, right?
D is offered for us
That's
to
a
come to
huge
California.
difference. I mean, you can run the totals up
What
and
did you
never
say?
look back.
D is
Oftentimes in
offered for us to come to
Pennsylvania, if you're a
California.
Democrat, running with a number like that. So let's take this off the screen. Come on back to 2024, and you guys are asking, how come we can't call North Carolina? Well, we may be getting closer because
let's go ahead and call it.
Mecklenburg is in, and Wake is pretty much in. This is Guilford. That's Greensboro. You had a lot of campaigning down there. It's a fast-growing area, too. There's about 22% of the estimated vote is still outstanding. It's an impressive number. I haven't looked at this yet. Let's just go see.
I'm telling you, when she
Joe
doesn't
Biden,
win,
okay,
I really
so
do
pretty
think that's
close
gonna
to where
happen.
Biden
I am
was.
gonna, I'm
The
gonna
raw
be
number
like,
is
I'm gonna
lower.
constantly
But
say
on a
she
percentage
should have
basis,
gone
she's
on
just
Rogan.
about hit her number.
She should have gone
And
on
Trump's
Rogan.
just a little higher, just a little bit there from 4 years ago.
You know,
So
Democrats
maybe
have
that's the
problem
reason you
reaching
can't make
young
a call in North
because of their
Carolina.
beta ways.
Maybe that changes.
Rogan would have been a way to
Georgia.
It was just a missed opportunity, man. It just shows the fragility of her campaign where, you can't accept this medium. Like, you can't go on. It's not like Rogan would have treated her like a hostile guest, man. I'm almost confident, extremely confident that he would have sat down and had a conversation with her. The fear is that she can't hold a conversation, right? That she comes off as disingenuous or comes off as stale. And maybe that's what we need, man. And that's the advent of social media and these platforms that we enjoy, you and I, right? It's not like the curated interviews you go on MSNBC with the softball questions where, 3 hours is a long time for people to ingest what you're saying and really take in the gaps in your thinking and stuff like that, bro. And there are a lot of gaps in her presence and in her thinking. And listen, man, I'm not trying to shit on anyone. And I'm not gloating, right? But have I not been saying this from the beginning, Mantis? Have I not been saying, why is everyone pretending that this woman is a perfect candidate? What is happening right now? Even when I have been saying it.
You have been saying
even when I was a little fearful.
Just as I've been saying, I knew she didn't have what it takes to go all the way.
Yeah, absolutely. But even when the machine started leaning heavily behind her, I was just like, what is happening right now, man?
At first I fell for it. I'm going to tell you. At first I was worried. I was worried for like a week or two there. And then after I was like, wait a minute. She's not saying anything.
Yeah.
She doesn't have any substance to what she's talking about. It's bizarre that and obviously this happened because people told her not to talk. How is that a good strategy ever?
It's not, and that's what you get for having weak ass mouth. And your did you see Chris Christie on The View recently?
I mean, he's that fat fuck. I don't have much. I don't have no love for. I've never had any love for this idiot because he's clearly doing. It's crazy that he was only running because he wants revenge on his ex-girlfriend, aka Trump. But he acts like Trump's his ex-girlfriend. He's bitter. He's clearly bitter. And I was like, why is anyone listening to this idiot?
Right.
Laney O says, listen, I don't want either of these chumps in office, but I voted for what I feel is best for the country. If all goes to shit, Sweden, pay me to move. I will contribute. I will tribute. Yeah, absolutely, yo. Absolutely. I too voted. You know, I'm a Trump guy because I can only choose between two.
Yeah, and
right?
isn't that the problem? You still think the oh wait, we didn't talk about the squirrel. We didn't talk about the squirrel.
Oh, you mean Peanut? You mean Peanut? Peanut, who was so viciously taken from us.
What?
Oh God, Peanut. And Fred too.
Growing tonight after New York State authorities euthanized a local squirrel who became a social media star. As we first reported on Wednesday, the Department of Environmental Conservation seized Peanut the squirrel and a raccoon named Fred during an armed raid at Peanut's Freedom Farm in Pine City.
She did
This
not work at
story made
McDonald's.
national headlines and is still today. Today, we learned both animals were put down, and we learned that the Chemung County Health Department was also involved in this. Our 18 News investigative reporter Nick Dabina is here with more, including the emotional reaction from Peanut's
squirrel and a
owner.
raccoon.
Hey, Jim. Well, before publishing
Who
this
the hell
story, we
cares?
called Peanut's owner to ask if he had received any updates on Peanut's fate 2 days after the raid. Mark Longo said nobody told him his animals were put down. Now, we first reported on Peanut last year. Longo started Peanut's Freedom Farm in Pine City after rescuing Peanut 7 years ago. Longo said he found Peanut after his mother was hit by a car. He rehabbed Peanut and tried to release the backyard, but Peanut never developed the instincts to survive outside. Longo then let Peanut live inside of his home. Peanut racked up a combined 3 million followers on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. Yesterday, Longo told us he was working on the necessary paperwork to legally own Peanut as an educational animal. He says, though, he was blindsided Wednesday morning when DEC agents served a search warrant at his home and took away Peanut. They also took away Fred the raccoon. The statement released to the media says, the Chemung County Department of Health and the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation are coordinating to ensure the protection of public health related to the illegal possession of wild animals that have the potential to carry the rabies virus. On October 30th, DEC said it seized a raccoon and squirrel sharing a residence with humans, creating the potential for human exposure to rabies. In addition, a person involved with the investigation was bitten by the squirrel. To test for rabies, both animals were euthanized. The animals are being tested for rabies, and anyone who has been in contact with these animals is strongly encouraged to consult with their physician.
This
You'll pause it real quick.
This might be the wildest shit I say, and I'm completely going to break my philosophy right now. But I want you to hear what I'm saying versus what you think I said.
Okay.
I'm speaking to the listening audience. We have hundreds of thousands undocumented people who could be potentially carrying any said amount of diseases, the vid, sexually transmitted diseases, or other things pouring through the border. But you found time to kill a squirrel and a raccoon to test if they have rabies. I want you to hear what I'm saying versus what you think I'm saying. Now, am I campaigning?
I'm sorry to laugh.
Am I campaigning for undocumented people to be euthanized and killed at the border? Absolutely not. But we're talking about rabies, right? Versus what you considered to be the plague less than 2 years ago, right? And they could be bringing over all types of, let's just, you know how you fly into the country and they ask you if you brought any fruit or anything back with you? Have you ever noticed?
Yeah.
You ever notice when you see the undocumented people coming over, what do they usually have with them?
Fruit. Bags and bags of fruit.
fruit, food, other things that they're carrying into our unstable, fragile ecosystem. But yet you found time to kill a squirrel and a raccoon for potentially having rabies, and someone got bit when you stole 2 pets from their home, so they bit you. And this was the response, bro. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry. I just wanted to make sure I was up to speed.
Yeah, you are up to speed, and that's why you're in such shock, because it's crazy. And to be honest, this actual event has actually bolstered Donald Trump.
Yeah. Wait, say again?
This has bolstered Donald Trump. This has made him more popular because he spoke out against this. What happened? And what it is like New York is the epitome of democratic overreach from government. And so their government thinks that they're like, why don't we? They're like, he has a squirrel. Let's break down his door and fucking kill his animals, which is nuts, right? And
Bro,
so
you took the time to report this guy. Someone on Instagram reported this guy. That's how this made it to where it's at. You know what I'm saying? Like some lowly blue hair or red cap wearing psychopath.
I like to imagine them as a blue-haired freak.
Oh my goodness. I don't want to see any more of that. You said you had a thought. I'm sorry, bro. Go ahead, man.
I don't remember the thought. All I know is we're gonna win this shit.
I gotta go check on D over on Rumble. Let's see how D's doing.
We would have that squirrel for 7 years. Like, what the F? Why now? Yeah, exactly. Why respond to that? Who's paying these agents? The agents have enough time to do that. But we don't have enough time to regulate illegal immigration. It's totally insane. Or like real crime. There are real crimes in New York State.
People that the Democrats and the Harris campaign should have gone harder and dirtier against Trump the way it was done to them.
I think they should have. I mean, that was awful, and they've been planning it forever. In the Judiciary Committee, they had more and more hearings about this, and it happened earlier, and we got into it. We've gotten ourselves off on the edge because the Democrats, we are a majority. We represent a lot of different communities. And some of the communities have stretched themselves out further than they should, but they can do it because that's their constituency. But when we take them as our constituents, we adopt all of their perspectives and opinions, and we lead with them. We lost, and when we've lost, he's going to appoint Clarence Thomas' successor. He's going to appoint Alito's successor. He's going to have a Senate to confirm him. He'll find 35 and 40-year-old fascists who'll serve for 50 years. And this country is
I love how everyone's a fascist. Everyone's a fucking fascist.
You don't have to be an Oxford Christian to make that observation.
Yeah. But Congressman Cohn, did you want to jump in?
Yeah, well, really fast. Okay, so to the extent that we could be any less effed than we might be if he ends up winning and all of what you're saying
That's
comes
why
past,
I don't like
which
the Young Turks, because they say
one of those
crazy
things.
shit.
So you're obviously on the inside. What can you do? What can the Democrats do? What's the plan to limit the effing?
If we're in the majority in the House, which we hope we'd be, and we still might be, but we thought we would win certain races where we may not, because we didn't think, Tammy Baldwin's in danger, Bob Case in danger. That means the House members are in danger. Matt Cartwright and Susan Wild, I don't know how they're going to do. I'm not thinking we'll keep the House. And if we don't keep the House, as the House and the Senate both, all we can do is bitch.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
So, Congressman Cohn, what I'm a little worried about is, so you mentioned the ad they ran about.
Oh man, I'm gonna use the bathroom. You got this, bro?
Yeah, I absolutely got
this. And I like what they're doing. Shout out CBS for this. This is nice, especially accurate, and it makes sense. So, look, out of the outstanding vote in North Carolina, she would need 61% of that vote to succeed in North Carolina. But what are they going to project if she gets? Like 38, 40, 50 or something like this? Not enough.
Of it to catch up. I'm going to tap this and I'm going to show you what our models show. She's still tracking to get only 47%. This comparison right here in a nutshell, that is why you can make the projection.
Boom. Let's do it now. Let's do it in Georgia.
Didn't get the vote that she needs, didn't get the turnout she needed. And I will add, Donald Trump did just fine tracking with his target numbers in and around, especially in the areas around Charlotte, doing just fine tracking with his 2020 patterns in county after county. And that's where he ran up the score.
And Anthony, to show our viewers what we call colloquially here, doesn't sound like a colloquial word, extrusion.
It's got 205 now.
Okay, I'm going to back this out for a second. So to do that, you're going to see where the vote comes from.
No, Google saying
and
230.
what you see is the higher bars are more people. And yes,
No,
those
Trump
are
has
Democratic
230. She has
areas.
205.
But you also
Oh,
see
she's
all
oh
these
wow,
areas,
she's catching
including in the
up.
western part of the state, red counties. And that's where Donald Trump consistently performed as well as he needed to compared to 2020 compared to his vote targets this time. So one.
I don't know, man. I think I'm going to settle in and see this one through. You down? I'll give it to like 12:31. You down, or what are you going to do?
Oh wait, so you're saying you're willing to keep streaming until the results are in?
Folks, we're probably not going to do a lot of talking. At a certain point, like it's just like now we're just watching.
Yeah, no, I'm down. I'll keep streaming.
Once I see it,
because Trump is man of the people. He's man of the people. It don't matter where you are, who you are. He's man of the people, and people out in the rural areas appreciate
man
that.
of the people. Man of
And of course, a lot of the rural areas, suburb areas, where
he really likes his Trump. You know,
country.
I think you're over here. I don't know if you can hear me and see me. I can see you now. Good to talk to you again. You know, when we spoke on.
All right, Marco. I want to hear Marco right now. So Virginia has been called for Kamala. I think Virginia had already been called. Let me go back to Google here. Okay. So let me get this together. Y'all give me a second. There we are. Okay. So Google is saying Kamala is taking California, Oregon, Washington, Colorado, New Mexico, Illinois, Virginia, New York,
D, come on
New
over to
Jersey,
YouTube.
Delaware, Maryland.
Yeah, so we can see your
pretty much all the
comment.
Northeast,
Yeah.
Vermont, Maine,
We got 8 people
Rhode Island,
on
Connecticut,
Rumble.
New Jersey, Delaware, DC.
Oh,
of course.
Rumbler.
Hey, do you guys know that DC has never voted Republican ever in its history? Washington,
Right.
DC, all the way back to the Benjamin Banneker days, they have never voted Republican ever. Now, I wonder why they never voted Republican. Maybe because the establishment back then was in DC, and it's the same people that's there right now. The same old
their
history
establishment owned
of
and
establishment
controlled group.
oppressing people, slavery, all that kind of
Venom
stuff.
was
It don't matter what color
Judge
you
Venom
are.
was
That's
the
what they were
best of
for.
the
They were
three,
for
which isn't saying much.
the
but
lower class to
I
be
enjoyed it.
I remember you talking about it.
kept lower class to keep the upper class comfortable. That's what they were for in DC. Republican Party comes along, Abraham Lincoln, you can't do this anymore. What do? They pop him straight away. They tried to pop Trump, but it didn't work. Okay, so Georgia, 91% in, and it's that same margin. It's not changing. Pennsylvania, 81% in, 51.4% for Trump. Michigan, 51.5% for Trump with 40% in. Wisconsin,
But like, look at the
54%
map.
for
It's
Trump,
so
70%
interesting.
in.
Yeah.
So it looks like
she
we're going
is
to
205 and she
then
barely has any
Arizona
states.
is let's go over a little bit. Arizona, 50% in, 49.8 for Trump, 49.4 for Harris.
He has
They've not
already
changed
most
that
of the
poll in a
country.
minute. That's interesting. But listen, you get Georgia, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin. You get these states, it's over.
It's over.
We only need 40, and you got 10 from Wisconsin, 15 from Michigan. That's 25, and then 19. You're right there. Get Alaska, Georgia. Georgia's going to go Trump too. So it's pretty much.
I thought they called it
and then the
earlier, but I
popular
guess they've
vote
been
for
going back and forth.
9,620,000.
That's why these numbers keep changing. They call it too early, right?
1,000 for Kamala, and that is 51% of the popular vote
I'll
for
give you
Trump
a
compared to
brief breakdown on
47.6%.
my experience with Venom. I took my poor son to see it, and he really loves the Venom character. Spoiler alert: the Venom symbiote.
Welcome, D.
The Venom symbiote at some point sacrifices himself for Eddie, and my son, who is extremely brave, he's like, "Can we leave, Dad?" And I'm like, "All right, we're out of here." I pick him up. We start walking out, and he stops me. He's like, "No, I need to see it. So we watched Venom die, and he's like, ah! And he just broke down. But then I tried to explain to him, I'm like, Poppy, don't worry, man. There was a little baby Venom symbiote, and Hollywood wants money. So if this movie does well, Venom will be back. Trust me when I say it. Just like a certain person is coming back to the MCU.
Yeah, right. But like, here's the whole thing. They can't keep making Venom without freaking having a Tom Holland versus him movie.
I'm with you, man. I'm with you. I'm totally
it's crazy. It's crazy how long they've been able to put that off, but they need to make that happen.
But you know what? The best, I agree with Screen Crush and Screen Rant, man. The best thing that can happen is that this shit is over, and now we don't have to deal, hopefully, with any more. We just got to get through Craven, man. Don't go see Craven. Stream that shit illegally. That's what I said. I said it out loud.
I won't even do that. It's not even worthy of my attention. You know what I mean? It looks bad. And what does it connect to? What is the point at the end of the day? He looks like he's Lion Man. F that.
Yeah, the Lion Man. That is the dumbest shit on earth, man. I almost clicked on the Grace Randolph video to fuck up your evening.
Here's what I'm saying. After Trump is elected, then you can do that. But like, I'm still on edge now that she's 205. I'm like, now I'm agitated. What happened? This is like the best sport you'll ever watch.
I think you're good, buddy. I think your guy's gonna take it.
Never get cocky, right?
That's also very true. It's also very true. I keep waiting to refresh the screen over on Google, and she's at 270. It's like
270. What?
No, I'm joking. I said I keep waiting to refresh the screen over on Google, and she'll be at 270. Man, this is like, what just happened right now? Why is this happening to me?
And I know it was just mocking people who get too emotional about this. You know what? I'm not going to let myself get emotional.
Let yourself
irregardless.
Feel your feelings, man. Feel your feelings.
Let's move on to this.
Speaking
of WandaVision,
no.
I think other than Tony Stark, my favorite character in the MCU is Steve Rogers. I think the best overall character arc in the MCU has been Tony Stark's, but in a very, very close second place to Tony's. I would say that the best story arc in the MCU has been Wanda Maximoff's Scarlet Witch.
That's crazy.
From where we met her in Age of Ultron, well, we saw her in a post-credit scene before that, but I mean, from where we really met her in Age of Ultron, her struggling with who she was and coming to grips with her power, leading into the events of Civil War, the horrible, tragic events that happened in Endgame and Infinity War, and then WandaVision, where she broke bad, and then got her events in Doctor Strange, the Multiverse of Madness, culminating in kind of a Darth Vader moment at the end. It's like, yeah, man, I killed a lot of people, but I'm going to go out a hero, I guess.
Oh, did you see what I was doing?
At the end. And whatever.
You know how many times when I still drink, I've had that moment where we've been on longer streams and I look over it, the Voodoo Rangers are all gone, the whiskey's gone. I'm like,
right. And I'm like, is this going to last me?
Like, but I'm not done yet. I have points
in Marvel, but it's really now great to be away from it because I've had to turn down a lot of great roles that I wanted, a lot of great projects I wanted to be a part of because of my commitment to Marvel. It was a wonderful time. It was all the good stuff, said all the right things, but basically she was done.
I mean, that's the problem with Marvel is that they want to book all
chat badge, man. I appreciate that.
But then their movies fall through.
But then Elizabeth Olsen's track started mimicking a lot of Robert Downey Jr.'s track. Because you remember after Endgame, it doing interviews. Oh no. I'm now. I had a wonderful time in the MCU, but I'm done. Great time in the MCU, then I'm done. It was career changing for me, but I'm done.
Feelings, man.
You know, sometimes throwing. Well, never say never, but I'm done. right?
Thank
But
you
what's
for
been
that,
happening?
guys.
I mentioned this like 6
I
months
am
ago.
feeling
I said,
feelings.
you know, Robert Downey Jr., his answers are starting to change a little bit.
Box wine,
So I
3
think he's
bottles for the
coming
price
back.
of one.
Well, I've been saying I think he'd be coming back ever since
Bota
Endgame.
box
Still,
is the best.
did you listen?
Listen to me,
His
box
answers are
wine
softening
was my
now.
jam,
His answers
man.
sound pretty
It was
good.
my jam
And the same
until
thing's
it
been happening with
wasn't, and I'm
Elizabeth.
Box wine ruined my life.
Softening. And it started to sound like, you know what, maybe she
I
does
woke up
come
one
back.
morning, my teeth were purple.
Guys, we want to take a second to thank a
Request box
sponsor of
wine.
today's
I'm like,
video.
what the hell?
That's the thing. You don't know how much you're drinking, and that's
With
what
the
I'm saying. When
holidays
stuff
right
is in a
around the
bottle,
corner, it's
at
all
least
about-
it's limited. At least you know you're like, I just drank a double bottle of wine.
Right,
But
right,
like in box wine, you have to estimate, and of course, like any drunk person, you forget to count.
Yes, yes.
And then you're like, I can do one more. I can do one more. You're like, I barely ate it. I barely drank any of this. Next thing you know, you're getting your stomach pumped. You're in lockup.
Agatha season 2.
We don't need to see this.
Technically, I think it's more there's going to be a
Because here's what I'm
WandaVision
saying. I
season
haven't
3.
followed
You know,
it.
it's an
So one of
interesting
your
dilemma that
co-hosts
has
haven't
arisen.
followed it, but
For
other
me-
people don't follow it. So
I was just saying, I just thought it would be a great time to fucking
have a review from that animal.
Just have her ruin your fucking vibe, man.
It's been ruined. Thank you.
Hey, let's bring some comedy to the stream, man.
Hey,
Hey, how are you?
you're so beautiful.
Really?
Yeah.
You're cute.
Stop. So, like, when can I get your number?
Sure.
Let me get a kiss. Damn, W. So, like, what's your name?
Vladimir.
What?
Vladimir. VLADIA. No, fucked up. I have never spelled my name before. But you get the point.
The internet, you gotta love it.
That's hella fake. No, bro.
Wait, is that really her voice? If she's
I'm
messing
Barbie
with you.
girl.
Nah, you're a guy. Of course I'm a guy, bro.
What the No, that's fake. That's gonna be fake.
What did you expect me to be, my brother?
Mom.
What?
I love that they still have Omega
like
up
Quebec.
or whatever, but Omega's done, right?
muscles.
It's in-
No, I'm just an anime girl. Kinda cute.
Can I get your snap, bro? Mwah. You look like you have been struck by depression. Can mommy Vladimir fix that by giving you a kiss on the...
No.
Well, how can you reject mommy Vladimir? I mean, look at me.
What's this?
Vladimir.
Vladimir. I'm from India.
Yeah,
You're looking gorgeous.
thank you.
Your eyes too.
Thank you.
Are you from heaven?
Yeah.
Maybe angels that look like you.
Yes, Lucifer specifically.
What?
You are a boy.
Yes, and I'm not an angel. Actually, I am, but I come straight from hell. I am Lucifer, and I'm here for your soul.
Oh no. You're looking gorgeous eyes. Your eyes too.
What don't you understand? I am here to take your soul.
Jesus.
Barbie?
Yeah.
No fucking way. Top line. Do this. 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 Barbie! What the fuck are you doing here?
I escaped Babylon.
In nomine Patris.
No, it's a kid! Yo, mom is a disco kid!
Oh.
Death Note. Hell yeah. I just finished that not long ago.
Really?
Yeah, it was awesome.
Do you want to die?
Sometimes.
How about now?
Wait. Like right now?
That's not what I meant.
Beautiful.
Yes, very beautiful. Indeed.
Yes. I love
To an
you.
old guy?
My voice, no problem.
You're a beautiful body.
I'm
I
in
love you.
danger. What's wrong?
You are so beautiful. Yes, I know. I'm very sexy, yeah?
Are you gay?
No, I'm straight.
Oh, are you boy? No, I'm a girl. You are ugly. But you called me beautiful. You said I Yeah, was beautiful. but you are gay. You are gay.
No, you are gay.
So who is gay?
Girl, I'm just saying, what if me and you walked into McDonald's and then I read the menu and it said that me and you, because you're my McChicken, please.
Bro, I feel like.
What?
Oh my god! Yo, I need your snap right now, bro. I need your fucking snap. We need to play Overwatch together soon, okay? You look bad as shit. Give me your snap right now.
It's Vladimir_Vladimir.
Well, we're waiting for answers, and we're fools for waiting for answers back because honestly, we never know when the actual answers and numbers will be counted. But right now we took a break from doing election coverage so we could watch Omegles, which is a defunct site at this point.
This generation is fucked, bro. Yo,
This trans person basically messing with people.
Don't skip. Talk to me. I'm very lonely. Talk to me.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, don't skip.
What's your name?
Look at this. I'm from India. You are from
Russia.
my heart? No, you're from my heart.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What's
I
your
love you
name?
too. I'm Drake, but you can call me yours.
Okay.
I am Vladimir, my brother.
I hate you.
Why?
I hate you. No, I hate you. I hate
Why,
you.
brother?
You skipped me, bro. I truly loved you, but you broke my heart.
So now you want me to skip you?
Yeah, skip me.
But you asked me not to skip you 2 minutes ago.
No, you skip me now. I'm telling you, skip me.
You know what? No, you. You skip me.
No, you skip me.
No, you skip me.
You skip me, bro. I'll cry.
What's the benefit to skipping or not skipping? Like, do you lose something for skipping?
No, you just if they don't skip you,
What,
you
bro?
came to
It's
this,
just
I guess you
miss
can't get out of it without me.
You want to see a little present?
Yeah, Fom, show me.
Mission failed.
He was gonna whip his dick out.
Come on, I'm waiting for the present. I like surprises. Scammer.
Misa! I promised the furries, anime girls, stupid was your dada.
He went along with your dad to get the milk.
Yeah, this is going on too long.
Oh man, let's go back to democracy.
Yeah, let's see what democracy has to for us.
And I just checked the number. He would run it up to 292. And if Arizona, he was up 0.1 percentage points about 30 minutes ago. He's up 0.4 now. So he's increasing his margin. Almost half of the vote out there. Arizona counts low. It's okay. We'll take our time on that. All right.
209.
It would be 303. So that's where we are. And we can run through all the other states and I'll show you what I'm seeing there. But Georgia has not yet been called here. Here's the margin, 2.3 now. Okay, so it popped up 1/10 of a percentage point. Let's go through them. Pennsylvania, yet again. All right, it was 4. It's now down to 3.7. Watch Philadelphia. There's still some outstanding vote there as well. Let's come over to Michigan. I said it was 5. What is it right now? It is exactly 5.0. And while we have you guys, let's do 2 more. Wisconsin, where does it stand right now? At midnight on the East Coast, 3.9 now in Wisconsin. I see a lot of red on this map, guys. A lot of red. Normally you see a little more trickles of blue there. Now, Arizona, the Southwest, as of now, okay, that's where it is. 0.4 percentage points. Trump lead in Arizona. You got about half the vote in right now, estimated.
Oh, what a team, Mizzle. Welcome.
that's where we are. We'll see if we get a call in a moment here on some of the other stuff.
I love that D-Cause says, come on, Daddy Warbucks, you got this.
Distant thing.
Woo! Yeah!
Something that goes a long way. Not only the coattails, we don't know about the House, but the Senate. And we could be looking at something that is historic.
Did y'all vote for them to legalize mushrooms?
Because there's a lot better chance that he runs all three of those states than there is that Vice President Harris does. Right. Which shows you, just illustrates how long the odds are.
I live in a extremely liberal area. I don't normally have like pictures of me doing stuff like this. This is
hey, for real, go ahead and call it, man. It's over. It's a wrap. Look. I mean, really, there is no path. There's no path. Let's go. Let's look at Google right quick, shall we? Let's just look. Where's the path? Listen, let's go to the states that I've been talking about all night. Okay, let's go to Georgia. Georgia, 93% of the votes in. He's up 50.8 to 48.5. Okay. Now, look at North Carolina. Has already been called 58 to 48. Okay. Very similar to Georgia. Pennsylvania, 83% of the votes in. 51.4 to 47.7.
I think we got this, guys.
Big margin.
Although remember,
45%.
It's not over till it's over, right?
For Trump, 46.8% for Kamala. Wisconsin, 76% in, 51.2% for Trump, 47.3% for Kamala.
Just imagine them writing in crayons now and crossing off the other names.
It's pretty close. 49.8 to 49.4, but still, I don't see how Kamala comes from behind in this race, that race to win. She would need to do that in order to win because she has 209 electoral votes. So let's do a path for Kamala. Let's do a path for Kamala based on this right here, 209. Again, the magic number is 270. Once you reach 270, it's over. Okay, so she has right now 209. And let's say she gets, I don't think she'll get Nevada. What you guys think about Nevada? Think she'll get that? I don't think so. But let's just say she gets the states that are leaning blue right now. So that's Minnesota, 10 electoral votes. New Hampshire, 4 electoral votes. Maine, 4 electoral votes. It's only 227. You still short. You still need quite a few votes. You need 43 more votes. So where are you going to get them from? Where are you going to get them? I don't see the path. So if you need, what I say, 227, if you need 43 more votes, you're going to need to get Wisconsin.
And she doesn't have the scam-demic to cheat
Michigan,
the way she did. I mean, obviously the cheating Dems are very good at cheating. But
and probably Georgia. Because you at 44, because you be at 44 with Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, but you need more than that. You would need to make all these races go in your favor if you Kamala Harris. Now, unless you could pull a rabbit out of the hat, I don't see that happening. Unless you could pull a rabbit out of your hat, I don't see that happening. Okay? I just don't. Now let's go refresh.
Well, you shouldn't say like that because Democrats pull shit out of their ass all the time. It's called fake votes.
It's still
cheating.
It's
called votes from dead people.
It's not really being counted a lot right now. Pennsylvania looks pretty strong in the hands of
votes from dead people is what made
Trump.
Kennedy happen.
Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Arizona, even Maine looks like it's kind of.
Steve, he just went over the path.
Daily Wire already called Georgia for
and
Trump.
Kamala doesn't even have a
Daily
path.
Wire says Wisconsin, Michigan.
Well, because what it is he's winning on all the major fronts.
Trump. Maine, I'm not
and
quite sure.
Unless he suddenly scoots out of nowhere.
Like Pennsylvania, you get 83% of the vote in. Michigan, you get 51% of the vote in. Wisconsin,
it's really impossible for her to win.
Who went over a path to victory? Anthony did or someone else?
Yeah, Anthony did.
Okay.
He was pointing out how far ahead Trump is to all these undecided states. And he's like, so let's say she wins all the ones she is ahead of.
Right.
That's not even going to be 270.
Yeah, I mean, well, okay, so now Daily Wire's got her at 213. He's at 247, but I mean, I I'm comfortable in saying I can go to sleep now and they're still gonna win, bro.
And so that's the question. Do you want to end the stream and then we'll reconvene tomorrow or something? Or
yeah, we can do that, man. We can do that.
Or wait, hold on. You don't think if we end the stream we're gonna bring bad luck to Trump?
Well, no, I'm a Christian. I don't believe in luck, but whatever floats your boat.
Yeah, I don't believe in luck either, even though I'm scared. Yo, guys, this has been an amazing run. We are not saying he won. We're saying that it is likely he won, but
right.
We're not gonna say that. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna stay up. Like I said, I have a warm bottle of champagne. I will burst when he wins. And I'm going to stay up till that happens. But it's going to be a boring stream from this point on because we're out of stories. And also, I just kind of want to watch these idiots roll around in these numbers. Although this has been a great one. Steve picked all the stories tonight. And Steve, you did a great job.
I'll take it. Excuse me. I take it you didn't like Vladimir? The straight man who dresses up as a woman to scare people.
Here's what I'm saying. It went on too long. and so what it is we got it. You dress like an anime bitch. You then break out your voice. And it's usually guys from the Middle East or India who you're messing with. After a while, I was like, okay, I've seen this. And it just kept going. And so that's when I was like, okay, let's move on. At first, it was very funny.
Yo, there are some very questionable things on there, man. There's one guy. There's literally one guy that Vladimir doesn't even get into character with Mantis because the guy's doing an act that you shouldn't be able to show on YouTube or even suggest that you're doing. And so the camera just pans him. He's like, what's up with you, bro? And the guy's like, nothing, man. Just chilling. He's like, yeah. He's like, I'm just horny as hell. And Vladimir's like, I can tell. It's just like, and he asked him a very poignant question. He's like, you ever consider taking your business somewhere else? Like doing what you do, like on the sites where they're allowed to do it? We're going to have to do a case study on that. Why do people go to those type of sites? I didn't even know this was a thing, man.
Well, Omegle has already been shut down. It's fairly within 6 months been shut down.
Mm-hmm.
People are lonely and they'll do anything. When I was a kid, it's so funny. When I was in junior high school, I remember a friend of mine being like, yo, I got this special. Here's what it is: a way to call in to a sex line, but it's a special number that makes it free. And so I was in junior high school and I was like, yeah, let me do this. And I was like, yeah. And like at late night, I was like, are my parents asleep? Is my grandmother asleep? Okay. And then I did it. And then after a while, I was like, this is lame. Just talking to some hoe online. Not even online. This is before online existed, but we still were using phones. And I was like, this is lame. And hung up. But the thing is that those phone things made tons of money because people are so desperate for connection. It's super sad, man. It's so sad, right?
I'm just laughing at a young mantis in the dark. So do you know the truth of Christ?
Well, you know what it is? I didn't stick with it. I know friends who continue to stick with it, but I was like, I'm good. I don't need to call that gap. But what I'm saying is that's why Omegle is you randomly meet people on the site through a video chat thing. It's really sad. Just like all these people on these OnlyFans things.
Oh, I remember the party line, D. I remember that.
Party lines, right? And I'll point out that OnlyFans. Now, I'm not gonna lie. I've been to OnlyFans. I've been to certain girls' OnlyFans. I will say this: it's never as good as you think, and it's always kind of lame, and it's pathetic. And when you're like, "Yo, I can't wait to see this girl naked. Let me pay for that," and then you go into it and you're like, Is that all? Is that all? And then I'm like, damn, I paid for this. I paid for this. Damn it.
Can I take one guess at one that you've been to? You don't have to admit to anyone. There's one I know you've been to. That chick from American Horror Story.
No, I've never been to celebrity ones.
Oh, okay.
The only ones I feel compelled to are like. Wait, why am I talking about this? You know, people you pseudo know from online.
Pseudo know.
Like, for instance, a few Spoon girls.
Really?
Yeah. And then like I said, you pay, and then you're like, that's a disappointment. And then I don't use it. Like, I'm paid for the month, but like you use it once, and then you're like, you know what? I'm good.
You should have tried to get a refund. Dispute the charge.
Well, since I know them, I should be like, yo, what's your OnlyFans? Didn't live up to the hype. So how are we gonna fix this? How are we gonna fix it? I saw your shit was discounted. I paid $12 for the month. How are we gonna fix this? I feel like I got $4 worth of entertainment. I do love that our conversations for a while on this was about Christianity and being Christians, and now we're talking dirty talk about OnlyFans. Lainey, what is Lainey's thing? Oh, she's slapping her head. Yeah, the good news is, I didn't habitually use it, and it wasn't into it, and so that's the better thing.
That is the good news, man. People can get addicted to that stuff, man, for sure.
But here's what I'm saying: I don't understand why. Because I don't know how our election stream turned into this. Because here's what I'm saying: I just want to pitch an idea to people right now. So you go to OnlyFans and you're like, oh, I have this crush on this girl. Not even a crush. It's not a real crush. An attraction, right? And you're like, let me go to her OnlyFans. And then you're like, her body under her clothes aren't as good as you think it is. And you're like, this isn't living up to the expectations or whatever. But honestly, if you just went to a porn site, you'd find women in far better shape who do far more graphic things for cheaper. Sometimes free. I'm not gonna, you know, it's funny. I'm gonna be real with you guys. I've never paid for porn. I have, unfortunately, occasionally paid for OnlyFans. Always regretted it. Always regretted it.
That's a poignant message, man. That's something you can play in front of the school. Like, kids, it's not frugal. You're never getting what you pay for.
Just go, you know, just go to Pornhub. Just go to like, you know, whatever, and you're gonna get more bang for your buck.
Oh my!
Which is nothing. $0 will produce more than whatever's going on in OnlyFans. You'll probably get a disrespect, and this is truth, but it's kind of fucked up. And so at least one of the girls from Spoon, I started I didn't disrespect her to her face or anything like that, but I was like, "You a hoe," even though I'm the guy who's like paying for it, right? I was just like, this chick is nothing but a hoe. There's nothing special happening here. And so here's what I'm saying. It's horrible that Mantis is admitting to this. Yeah, I'm a dick. But you know what? That is what all the men are thinking.
Right.
Just remember that, because all these chicks were like, it's a new age. We got OnlyFans. I'll have myself an OnlyFans. Guess what? Your man and no man is respecting you after that shit.
And you can't scrub it from the internet either.
Like that crazy, angry Trinidadian chick. You remember she was flipping out when she found out that people were she found her nude shit on other sites. And she's like, fuck this shit. And she had like a TikTok where she was losing her mind. And I was just like, and that's what I'm saying. I was like, nobody tells these girls that like the internet is permanent. And there's a million ways to copy any video, and people are immediately sharing your shit.
If Avengers Endgame can be fucking bootlegged, you're $12.99. Only
Right. And so, what have we learned tonight? Kamala Harris was a horrible candidate. Trump is still Teflon Don, keeping it real. And OnlyFans does not pay. You girls need to find other ways to pay your rent. And also, honestly, if you think you're like some open-minded woman where you're like, I'll do OnlyFans and still have the respect of a boy who likes me, well, that's unlikely. That is unlikely, girl. So if you got that OnlyFans, you may want to rethink about it, or at least rethink letting someone you have a remote crush on know that it exists. Can't stress that one enough. I can't stress that one enough.
Great way to end the show, man. Catch us on Ridge Radio throughout the week. You know where to find us, man. Oh my goodness. One last update. I'm going to refresh one last time.
Yes. Let's before we leave, Steve's going to refresh. We're going to check out the pattern.
Kamala is at 220. Donald Trump is at 230.
Look at them. Oh, the fix is on. The fix is on.
I'm just messing with you, bro. It's 230, 210. I just wanted to
Is it?
Yeah, 230 to 210.
Makes you feel a little better. So the fix is on. It's not as bad as I thought. Steve, where can I find you?
Thursday nights, Sunday nights, mic check. Check out our latest episode, man, with DJ Frenchie. That's going to be up on the Fanboy Modeling School podcast over on what is that? Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and anywhere you enjoy podcasts.
And of course, I am the Fat Mantis. You can catch me on the Fanboy Modeling School recaps Monday through Thursday on the Riz Radio, or you can always check out. What are you doing over there? Why are you making weird faces? You weirdo.
I'm eating seaweed chips.
Gay. Or you could catch me on my solo Sundays at 6 to 10 p.m. Eastern, called Burn Your Degree, where I challenge your reality. You need to check it out because I've got segments that will make you redefine your very existence. Also playing today's best music, top 40, pop, everything, K-pop. It's all there. Everything you love. Just tune in to Burn Your Degree.
Good night, all. And God bless.
Sweet dreams, bitches. Until next time, ciao for now. Your chewing is so annoying.